What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Raven, and guess what? We have absolutely nothing planned for today, but I did want to mention a few things and a couple things I wanted to bring up. So we're right here at the start of things, and once again, no idea where my co-host is. Send him the link. Probably. I know we overslept last time. All of our sleep schedules have been like fucking wonky. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Every one of them, my own included. I didn't get to bed until maybe 4 a.m. I was sitting right here listening to Spotify, just listening to music, like really slapped me, just whatever caught me. But I did want to bring something up, and some of you know that I am into crypto. I do own some crypto. I wanted to bring this news up because this is something really interesting personally. And I think it bears a little, just a little something here. Now, I'm going to say this in March of 2020, we had a little incident where the lockdowns were just about to kick off. The state of emergency had been declared, and I had bought Bitcoin. And then I bought a few others at what I thought were relatively low prices and lost several $100s in that crash. Well, several $100s in value. Nothing was cashed in. So let me make that abundantly clear. Nothing had been cashed in, so I didn't sell anything. The value of what I was holding significantly dropped. I walked home pretty numb that day. I was pretty taken by surprise, and I remember a friend of mine calling me up. I mean, this dude was mad as hell, right? And I just kind of let him rant. I let him rant over the phone, and it was through him ranting that I remember. I told him, you know what? Today and tomorrow, probably a good time to grab a stiff drink. Let's just have one and see, how we feel in the morning. And I'll never forget it. This went on for like 2 days. So the last day, because that happened the day before I actually got a couple days off. So anyway, I went home, kind of like, and then on top of that, having to listen to my friend there just go off, because he lost a lot more than I did in value. When he told me how much he lost, I felt better. Let's put it that way. I lost several $100s in just value, and I was like, oh my goodness. And he had lost so much more. And I was like, ooh, good grief. Okay. So the morning I'm off, I call him up. And I'm like, how you feeling? He's like, not good. I was like, well, what happened? He said, I got pretty loaded, and I went on a drunken Twitter rant, and he read that rant off on me, and much the same sentiments and concerns that he expressed to me. And I was like, oh, wow, that dude. I was like, well, how are the tweets doing? Or you haven't been reported or anything? He's like, no, that's the weird part. Everybody loves them. I was like, ooh, okay, good deal. I was like, well, you dodged that bullet. I said, listen, I kind of had a thought, and I wonder if you'll just kind of hang with me for a minute while I explain it. He said, sure, what's going on? I was like, well, remember those prices you were buying that crypto at? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, look at it. It's all on sale. I was like, we could spend the exact same amounts of money every so often. We'll get much more crypto. I said, now when that stuff starts to go up, we'll have a point at which we'll stop buying and just watch what we have accumulate, all that good stuff. And he was hungover as hell. He's like, yeah, cool. I'm going to go and come on. I'm going to try to get rid of this hangover. I was like, all right, cool. I was just a little hungover myself. I had 2 or 3 that night. Rum and Coke was what I had. I still remember it. And I came to that conclusion that night. Hey, wait a minute, everything's on sale. What am I worried about? And I had to remember, like, crypto was built for certain types of events, particularly Bitcoin. Bitcoin was built as a hedge against inflation. It was also meant to free us from banks. So if you and I wanted to sell and buy, to each other privately, we could do that. It facilitated private exchange. It is anonymous in that your name is not attached to your wallet address. However, you watch a wallet address long enough, it can build up a profile. So immediately there were markets that went up for it, and believe it or not, you can buy things with Bitcoin. You can buy things with Litecoin, XRP, Dogecoin, stuff like that. You could buy things with that. So it does have real world tangible value. And the weirdest part was I started doing some research with my friend, and I found out the conclusion that we came to together was that the dollar was just losing its buying power. Crypto and precious metals were increasing in their buying power. Well, when every time someone has said this particular crypto is dead, well, doesn't look like that's going to be the case. This is one that I really did some research on, and I loved it. And I've been holding on to not enough of it, not enough for my taste, but enough that if it does what it says it's going to do, I'm going to be just fine. XRP to the moon. Expert predicts major price surge in 72 hours. That was of today, as of today. So they're predicting an XRP price blast in the next 3 days. They say it's currently underperforming against Bitcoin, but shows signs of strength in recent days, which is true. Market sentiment is muted, which Crypto Insight sees as a positive indicator for potential expansion. To give you the long and short of this, this is basically going on to say that the value is going to go through the roof. They're predicting a 300% price increase. Right now, I think XRP is sitting at like 65 to 70 cents. It hit 73 cents as a per coin as a cap. I was buying it at like 11, 12 cents per. This is a couple of years ago. Then that thing with the SEC happened. Everyone swore it was gone. This is it. It's dead. Well, not so much. As a matter of fact, it started really coming up in price after the case settled earlier this year. So within the past few months, that finally settled, and it was over and done. It is not a security. It does not feature any of those things. Ripple, the company behind XRP, is gearing up for a Supreme Court case, and it looks like Jeremy Hogan, one of the attorneys who looks at these crypto cases, says that Ripple has legs on which to stand, and they've got an edge going into court. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't really give you any advice, but personally, I've been telling everyone when XRP was below 50 cents, when it was at like 10 and 20 cents, buy a lot of it. Back the truck up, buy as much as you can, because this is, if what I'm reading and if I'm understanding it correctly, this is what the banks are going to use. And let me explain how this works. The way it works is, let's say right now you want to Western Union someone a couple $100. Okay, that's going to take time to reach them. It could get, the data shifts in minutes, but the actual transaction on the back end takes about 3 days. So whenever you purchase something with your debit card, for example, and you use it like debit or credit, the data transfers immediately. However, it takes 3 days for all of that to actually settle in the background. This is called the SWIFT system, believe it or not. And on top of that, it's been around since the 1970s, so it's been around for about 50 years. That has not advanced with technology at all. And so, because of that, What this does is it solves that problem. So what happens is if banks start getting onto this as the standard, and I think they will. What that means is from here on out, when you use your debit card, not only will the data settle instantly, but the actual transaction will settle in less than 5 seconds. And the fees, there's another thing. The fees for like a transfer like that, they happen as, it goes from your bank to these intermediaries. Everybody takes their little share off the top, boom. Then it settles. So you're paying these exorbitant fees for money transfers, like Western Union and all that other stuff. MoneyGram started using this, and guess what? Settled in less than 5 seconds. So it holds it in escrow and releases it at the same time. Pretty good stuff. This is buying XRP is akin to buying data packets back when the internet was in its infancy. If you had purchased, if data packets were a commodity for sale and you started buying them when no one wanted them, and look how quickly data packets are being just transferred up and down the lines now. Now they circulate like crazy. If you had bought 10,000 of them and they went to $30,000 today, yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about money ever for any reason at all. You'd be good to go. So XRP is one I'm holding on to. XLM, that's IBM's baby. That's a very similar one. It also solves many of the same problems. I do have a little bit of Bitcoin. I've got a couple other cryptos too. We're gonna see. This is one of the two that I'm banking on. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm really excited for that news too, because quite honestly, that's one if it does, like I said, if it does what I think it's going to do, your boy ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. And you ain't gonna have to worry about super chatting him and all that other good stuff, because quite frankly, I do not want to have to work for Google ever. So we shall see. But I'm very excited as to how that turned out. That little piece of news was just what I wanted to share. Sorry it took so long. But I also wanted to share something else with you because I thought this was funny. I've been sharing it with everyone. I want to share it here because, oh my God, when you watch this later on, you're going to be laughing your head off. And this is, here it is. I'm going to tell you, any video that starts the way this one does, that is one that I can honestly say it's going to be one you're gonna laugh your head off to, and I think you're going to laugh your head off to this. So just check it out.
I fucked up the other day, and I didn't read the label before I decided to put something in my mouth, and I'm going to tell you why. I had a company here lately reach out to me because they found out that I enjoy to dabble in the edible department, gummies mainly. Now, when I said notice I said dabble. I didn't say that I'm a fucking professional or any kind of shit like that. Okay, so anyways, regardless, they asked me for my address. They sent me a whole plethora of items, which was very nice of them. So I decided to partake. One of these items that they sent me is called a nerd rope. Now, if you don't know what a nerd rope is, like myself, I'm going to tell you what it is. A nerd rope is a gummy that's got little bitty pieces of nerd candy attached to it. Now, a little something that you don't know about me, I fucking love nerds. It's one of my favorite candies ever. So instantly right off the bat, I was like, I'm going to fuck that nerd rope up. It was sitting on my counter. I had a little piece of paper over it. And when I read it, it said 50 milligrams. They sent me all these products. They said, hey, be sure to cut everything in half. Make sure, because our stuff's a little strong. I was like, all right, no big deal. 50 milligrams, cut it in half, 25 milligrams. I got this. Boy, did I fuck up. The little piece of paper that was covering the package was hiding a 0. Wasn't 50 milligrams, it was 500 milligrams. And I cut that bitch in half and threw it right down the gullet. Ingested 250 fucking milligrams. Did you know that you can have an anxiety attack and diarrhea at the same time? These are naturally preserved whole whole lemons, pickled lemons. I ordered like what I can tell, like 8 or 9 jars and ate 7 of them. I don't even remember how they taste. I got so high that I remember watching the cottage cheese and mustard lady on TikTok, and I was like, I can make whatever that dip she's making. So I got this big ass bowl of mystery dip on my counter, and I don't even know what the fuck's in it. You think I'm lying? I am not. Also decided to take purple spray paint and count all the hay bales out in my field and label them. Here, check this out. Just in case you are wondering, there's 15 total hay bales out of my field. Yeah, buddy. Also ordered a Google Nest thermostat for my house and discovered one thing. I am not qualified to do HVAC repair. I annihilated, and when I mean annihilated, I annihilated 3.5 cases of my daughter's Capri Sun. She's 4, and then had a 45-minute discussion with her on why Elsa is not a good candidate for president. Just for the record, I regret nothing about the Capri Suns. Have a good day.
I don't know if any of you found that as funny as I did, but Jesus, 250 milligrams. God, holy crap. Whoa. Bordering psychosis, but he counted hay bales, ate a whole bunch of pickled lemons, made a jar of mystery dip. I'm not going to lie. That looked like hummus, and I would probably try it. I'm just not even kidding you. Give me like some pita chips, and I'll give it a whirl. Found out there's no way in hell he's going to be able to replace that thermostat. And then on top of all of that, he just drank the shit out of some Capri Suns. All right. Yeah, I'm going to fuck up that nerd rope. Yeah. How'd that work out? Well, I'd say, I gotta say, he did it pretty famously. Way to go, man! But woo, good grief, man! I don't know that I'd be down with doing 250 milligrams of that, but dang, cuz I can imagine he slept like a baby a little bit later, though. But pickled lemons, really, Goose? Is that how you deal with? Is that how you deal with the munchies, dude? God, oh, I hope he peeled them at least. I'm picturing like Goose actually just taking those things and just munching right into them. Good on you, Goose. Hey, you know what? There is one thing I wanted to get to, and I need to bring you to it. Let's go here, because I want to show you this. This is glorious in my opinion. And I know there are people right now that do not like this guy. I don't care. I enjoy his work. And I want to bring it up. Now, being a fan of ISOM numbers 1 and 2 myself, Alpha Core number 1 is here for pre-order. Guess what? The animated trailer was amazing. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. But we're looking at you can just pick up a copy of Alpha Core number 1. You could pick it up graded and 9.6, depending on which one you want. It's going to be about $150. I think they're out of the graded cover Cs. $150 for graded comics. That, let me put it to you this way: you're not going to read that because it's encapsulated. You're just buying that to collect it. You're buying it to preserve it. If you're doing that, I get it. $20 for the Alpha Core poster, $25 for the Alpha Core beanie, $36 for the Ingrid Valdez crewneck sweatshirt, $28 for the Alpha Core t-shirt, $22 for the What's Your Favorite Part, featuring the team leader of Alpha Core and, of course, Isom. Rippaverse Comics hoodie for $50. They have the first appearance pack. You can pick your cover, so you get Isom number 1, and then you get whichever cover you want of Alpha Core there. There's also a bundle here. If you have not read Isom, then you can get ISOM number 1, ISOM number 2. You can pick your cover here, and then Alpha Core number 1. You can pick your cover here. I think our man Graybeard actually got that one. So very cool stuff there. But let me show you what is going on here. Let's go here. Here we go. So you have a choice of 4 covers. Let me tell you what's going on with them. So this is 96 pages. This is not going to be written by Eric July. It will be written by Chuck Dixon, penciled by Joe Bennett. 2 people who have been blacklisted from the comics industry altogether. Now, if you don't know who Chuck Dixon is, I want you to look up Batman: The Breaking of the Bat. This is the issue where, pardon the alliteration here, Bane actually breaks Batman's back after putting him through a gauntlet of these supervillains that he just unleashed. It was part of his plan to wear Batman down before he decided he's basically softening him up so that he could finally take him out. And oddly enough, that's exactly what happened. He softened him up, and then he broke his back and paralyzed him. And that's when Jean-Paul Vallée, the one known as Azrael, took over and became a more violent Batman. But you've got cover A will be penciled by Joe Bennett. Cover B is Jack Herbert's cover. Cover C is by an artist named Turnion. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And if anyone out there knows this artist and I did butcher the name, let them know I'm sorry. Or her, whoever. Cover D will be Mark Evans's cover. Now, 3 covers here. Cover A, cover B, and cover C. Those will never be reprinted. Okay. Let me show you something. Cover A, that is Joe Bennett's cover. That is what the interior of the book will look like. So this is Joe Bennett's artwork. Pretty cool stuff. It kind of, in fact, I'm looking at this and it gives me those Jack Kirby vibes. I'm not even going to lie. Cover B, got Ingrid Valdez there, going up against another female, whom I'm assuming is a supervillain. I do not know that particular character, so I'll be reading though, and I'm pretty sure I'll find out. Cover C. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a gold foil and embossed cover. This one is $50. The other 2 before this one was this one with the with Joe Bennett's cover is $28. Cover B is $28. Cover D is also $28. Now this one is Mark Evans's cover. I actually thought this cover was the sickest. I loved this cover. This cover will be reprinted though. So after this campaign's over, the only cover that will be available for future prints is going to be this one. And from what I'm understanding it, Alpha Core is like a small superhero police unit. They kind of police the superhero community in Florence Spark, Texas, which is where the story is set. And being that this one is written by Chuck Dixon, should prompt some of you to look up and say, hey, let's take some notice. Honestly, I think Eric July and the Ripaverse, all the people there, they're listening to their customers. I really believe that, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because I had some criticisms with the book itself, with ISOM in particular. And I made mention of those criticisms. Those criticisms are that the first 2 issues, yes, they just unload the whole world on you. But how are they going to? The ill-advised storyline is Isom coming out of retirement. How are they going to wrap all these little loose ends? Well, the answer has been provided. They're not. They're not going to wrap up all the loose ends by that third issue of Isom. It's not going to happen. In fact, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Those first two Isom books were meant to, just exposit all over you. And I had this theory when I saw these characters like Gooding, Bloodruth, Alpha Core, Yaira, and I knew these titles were coming. And I think what's going to happen is a single initial storyline from which all these others are introduced, and then eventually it will break off into separate but connectable storylines with some crossovers. It's not called a rip-a-verse for nothing. So I'm urging a lot of these critics to have a little fucking patience. Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? Eric July has done really well for himself. Just this morning, I saw that he announced that this campaign hit $900,000. $900,000 is not bad. Congratulations, Eric. You deserve it. You earned it. Your team earned it. Chuck Joe, you earned it. Excellent work, my friends. Keep it up. I will definitely be there for every issue I can possibly pick up because I enjoy it. Now, the minute I stop enjoying it, that's when I'll stop. I'll stop buying. And hey, Z, what's going on? And why do you have like 4.2 thousand likes on this stream? Do I really? No, that is not possible. There ain't no way. Let me check. Are you talking about YouTube or somewhere else? Because I don't know. I'm gonna actively look here. Let's see. Let's go to the link itself, and I'm gonna pause this. Nope, only one. only one like. And it might be you. I'm good with that though. I'm good with that. But hey, maybe on Twitter. I don't know because I can tell you one thing. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see about going to the profile real quick because I know it's got to be there. There we go. Well, 31 people have viewed the stream on Twitter, but no likes so far. That's okay. It's not a huge thing. We're not worrying too much. And so far that I could tell, no likes on the Cloud Hub stream. But again, no big deal. Nothing to worry about. I do these because I started doing them because I enjoyed them. So you see 4.2K on the main stream. Wow. On the main screen. Wow. Okay. That's why, that is strange because I have no idea. Now I'm looking at my studio here. Let me go to YouTube and see if I can find it. Saturday morning chill stream 2 watching. Okay. Let me try that and stop. Nope, just 1. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Maybe my channel has that many. Let's check. Let's view the channel. I don't know. That could be. Let's see. I mean, it's entirely possible. I have 639 videos. Bleh. But apparently it doesn't tell me how many likes that I have. Oh, well, it's okay. It happens. No biggie. I'm not gonna sweat over that. I'm not gonna sweat over that. But it's possible. Honestly, I'll be straight up with you. For any of you like watching live right now, I don't really get concerned about that You want to know what my secret is to stay insane about this kind of thing? I make the content, I post it, I get all the links, I post those, and I walk away. That's it. And by the way, if anyone's wondering, this shirt that I'm wearing, I'll stand up briefly to. I think we're past the watershed now. So, Solitary Coventry made this out for me. And I think it looks fantastic. I haven't really put it through a wash cycle yet because I've barely worn it. I wore it for a picture and then I kind of put it up, and it ended up under my hoodie. I saw it this morning and I was like, woo, hey, there it is. So I pulled it on. I told her I'd be wearing it for this stream. So maybe if she isn't catching it live, maybe she'll catch it in replay. Right about the 30-minute mark. That's where it appeared. But let's see. Oh, mobile glitch. Okay. Would have been a nice glitch to work in our favor. Would have been. I can tell you this much. When I went to my main YouTube screen, when I went to my home screen, in fact, on my home screen, it's right there. It's like the first video. The live stream I'm currently doing is right there, first thing. So, kind of happy about that. But that's only on my screen. I don't know how it's doing for anyone else's screen right now. But hey, mobile glitches, they happen. If I had, and let me put it to you this way, even if this were truly how many likes I suddenly got, I could not tell you how it happened. I don't sit here and try to figure out analytics and all that other shit. I'm busy as fuck. Like, once I'm off the stream, I'm doing something else. You know, I close this down. I'll post the links to the replays. Gone. I'm doing something else because why would I sit here, especially not being monetized? I'm not monetized. I don't want to be monetized. I'm good with no monetization here. At one point, that was something I was pursuing, but now it's like, nah, I'm not. Mainly because I think there are better ways to do things. I think, just as an example, like I've got an Amazon wish list, and if you want like some private readings, you know, it's a gift exchange. You get me something, I got something to give you back, and you can come forward at any time, and I'll set it up with you. No problem. I got people that I still owe readings. They haven't asked for one lately, and I'm like, you know, you got them. They never expire. So they're just kind of sitting on what they have. And some have just like, through a series of events have like, actually, I think there's one guy named Eric. I'm not kidding you. One guy named Eric who got me a deck of rune cards. And I'm not kidding you. I owe him several readings right now. I owe him several. And he's only turned up for one. And I think that was his birthday reading. That was the only one he turned up for. It happens. It's just one of those things that happens. So, you know, the channel's small. We only have like, I think we're up to 284 subscribers, 285 here on YouTube. I've got a couple thousand people that follow me on Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter till the domain name changes. That's just going to happen. Then over on Cloud Hub, I've got I got like maybe 10 subscribers there, 20 something on BitChute, maybe 20 to 30 on Rumble, you know, a few on Odyssey. My numbers, this is not a big channel, and I'm okay with that because personally, I really want you to tune in because you like whatever it is I'm putting out there. And if you like what I'm putting out there, great. You know, and if you share it, excellent. If you like it, awesome. You know, you comment, that's cool too. Those are all free ways to help the channel. And I would rather us just growth over a very long period of time rather than instant, instant internet celebutard. Because let's face it, if I were to get like PewDiePie numbers or Mr. Beast numbers, like now, I'd turn into I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence enough to tell you that. Oh, I'd still be the same guy. No, I would not. I'm not going to lie to you. I would not be the same dude, because then it's going to be every platform. It's especially if it just happened here on YouTube, for example. They're going to be bugging me for monetization. They're going to be bugging me. Ooh, join our partner program. Join our partner program. No. And let's just say I did. I'd probably have more money than I'd know what to do with. I'd probably have to hire accountants to keep track of it all, because I don't have time for that shit. You know, I'd have to. I'd be like, look, you're handling a pretty big account here. Yeah, don't fuck it up. You know, that kind of thing. Because I'm busy with like a project I've got going on. I'm busy with helping some other people with theirs. I've got some people who want my help but haven't really contacted me yet. We've only just barely talked about it, that sort of thing. So I got a lot going on in my off time. Plus, I gotta take care of the place. I gotta, you know, it's a lot. And then I got my job on top of that. Believe me, if I had Mr. Beast numbers and then that job, I'm pretty sure that job would throw me an ultimatum, and I would have no problem with sitting down in that office when I'm being faced with that ultimatum and going, and that would be my answer. Mainly because I know the reaction will be, hey, you can't do that in here. Bitch, I'm Raven Wolfgar. I can do whatever the fuck I want now. Like, what would you do? You know, that's kind of one of those questions I do want to put forth. What would you do? Your channel, if any of you watching have a channel right now, what would you do if your channel suddenly just blew up? If your Substack just suddenly blew up? Like, you got Mr. Beast money from it. Like, it's not a question you have to answer to give me an answer to. I don't really care what answer you give, but what would you do? Think about that for a minute. Let's be honest. How many of us would go a little celebutard? Because I know I would. I know I would, and I would probably say and do some things that, you know, I already say and do things people don't like. We just had well, it's not a discussion really. Some people on Twitter don't seem to like that I'm in favor of 100% unrestricted gun ownership. Just how I am. I don't think the thousands of gun laws on the books have worked, and I don't think confiscation is an option. I don't think suspending or eliminating that right, though they try. I don't think eliminating the protection on that right is a good idea. And I think anyone who's a proponent of that is just showing that this was they're just saying the quiet part out loud at this point. Just how it is. And it never should have been. There is one other thing I want to talk about. We need to talk about Chalt. We really do. We need to talk about Chalt because I did write an entire Substack article about it. I did get that there was a missed opportunity here. It was called, I failed to call it Let's Chat About Chalt, and I probably should have. Damn right. But I do want to go there now and share it, because we are about to be talking. And go ahead and get your friends in here, because we're about to be chatting about Chalt. And this will make the third time we've done it on this show. We're going to do it again. I'm talking about these 3 big, beautiful books right here. Those. All right, well, have a great day. Don't do anything I would do. I can't do another exorcism this week. I don't have it in me. I'm bone tired. But But this is one of the coolest games I've ever seen. It's definitely unique. It pays homage to many pop culture things, especially from guys my age and Venger's age. Venger's only a few years older than me. If anything, the age gap between Venger and me is the same age gap as me and my younger brother. My younger brother is the youngest of three. Okay, he's 40, I'm 45. So yeah, we're all grown up. But anyway, this game right here, you can see that third cover, that chartreuse cover there. It is kind of an homage to Hawk the Slayer. I've got the books literally 1, 2, like 1, 2, and 3. The second book has a cartoonish version of Venger on the cover, which I thought was pretty cool. And of course, that first cover, we have a lot of eyeballs and tentacles surrounding the Black Pyramid. And it is, you know, the artwork itself is so weird and so out there and so colorful that would this be something I would do? No, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm glad Venger was the one who did it. Venger went out on a limb and just did that shit. And you know what? He made a game that was really cool. It's very unique. If you're wanting something, you can rule of cool and rule zero. You know, this is how to do it. Because Crimson Dragon Slayer is the engine that this thing runs on. It's only 19 pages, and a few of those pages are art. So you're getting about 15 to 16 pages of actual rules. And it's so light that it will leave it on the GM to really make adjudications and notations and stick with them. So I think Crimson Dragon Slayer D20 alone, it's free. You can easily go pick it up on Big Geek Emporium. You'll be getting the newer version. Believe it or not, Crimson Dragon Slayer D20 is actually in these books. So there's your rule set. Crimson Escalation is also in there. So really, with some of these books, it's like getting 3 books in one. And then on top of that, if you buy the hardcovers like I did, and these are mine, these are the physical hardcovers, you will actually get the PDFs for free. Now, there's a reason we're chatting about Chalt, because it is such a colorful, vibrant, post-apocalyptic science fantasy, gonzo, eldritch horror, sleazy world. And look, there are many, many kinds of sleaze out there, people. It doesn't have. I know at one point in the book mentions I guess sort of like this butcher and his sister standing there talking to the characters. These are NPCs, and then she reaches into his pants and starts, you know, playing with him. Not something I want to unleash on my players, but what if the sleaze takes a different turn? The butcher knows that the characters are up to something. He's got a bad sense about them. You know, bad for him. So he pretends to help the characters, and then he turns on them, double crosses them. That's a sleazy butcher. The pirate you know you shouldn't hire, but has the reputation that you're looking for to get you and or your stuff from point A to point B, gets you about 3/4 of the way there and rolls over on you. That's a sleazy pirate. You know, stuff like that. That is the kind of sleaze I talk about, because I think that's a little more appropriate for some of the tables I run. But again, run it how you want. That's basically the way this game is structured. And Venger has brought up that no two Chalt worlds, no two tables will ever run the same. Like, he literally acknowledged that in one of his videos. Not only that, but this game is supported by a fantastic array of people doing third-party work for it, like Patty. We had Patty on the show. Miguel and Sylvia from the Red Room, we've had them on. And, of course, Lord Mateus, who has done the Skeevers of Turner Town as a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome tribute. to Tina Turner. Very cool stuff. And then as well, he's also done Into the Great Sunken Library, which is an adventure in and of itself. I have all those links in this very article. You can find it. I will be linking it in the description down below. I don't give a damn what YouTube thinks about links. If they don't like it, tough shit. What is going on here? Here we go. Shrink that back down. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so right here, let's talk about Chalt. I'll give you the rundown of some of what you can expect. So you have supplements. These ones are by Venger. Chalt GPT. He does have free character sheets you can print. The Violent Haunted Crypt. The Good Sumerian. Also, Crystal Rainbow Utopia. I don't think he's released that anywhere else, but you can buy it directly through him. There's also the Skeevers of Turner Town, Into the Great Sunken Library. Epic. That was by the Red Room, which mixes Wretched Space with Venger's Alpha Blue. So tangentially linked to Chalt. And this is one thing I fucked up yesterday. I fucked up hard. I was at work. I was coming home from work. I was a little worried because I had kind of brought the keys home with me. I wasn't supposed to. This is not the first time it's happened. It's no big deal. The manager has keys for certain things. We have the same keys. So there are certain keys that we don't have copies of. We need to make copies of those, by the way. But my biggest concern was going home with the keys or that stupid little scanner device. I made sure I put those away. Had my phone out, went to go talk to my manager on duty about a couple things. I put it down and I talked to him, and then I left, and my phone was still at work. I had to go in at I went in at like 8 this morning to pick it up. So I've had very little sleep here. But we're going to talk about Chalt X cards. And you know what? I really want to talk about this because it's so funny. I got to admit something, and I had concerns when Venger said that he was creating Chalt X cards. I was like, oh no, come on. I was like, don't go that direction. And then after a couple days, I realized, what is he doing? Because this didn't make sense to me. I'm like, he's never been a proponent of X cards and lines and veils and all that kind of nonsense. He's not going to put that in the books now. That would be crazy. And then it occurred to me, he's going to do something to fuck with this crowd, like hard. Like when I say fuck with this crowd, I mean he's going to absolutely, positively fuck with them. Like do something that's just behind the line. These people can do nothing about it. It's going to drive them absolutely bonkers. And thank goodness he actually did. And I'm here to show them to you today because the X cards, that's a supplement, which I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to show you the supplement here. We're going to talk about that for just a minute. And I think, where's my folder? Oh, I really got to go into the vault again and find my folder, and then I can take you through this particular, how can I put it? This particular supplement, which I think is pretty fucking funny myself. Here we go. Chalt X cards. Let's bring that up. And if you haven't checked it out, it is free. It's free on Big Ink Emporium. Nope. The Red Room store, and I think Giant Slayer Games has it. Drive-Thru RPG has it. I would pick them up before as a matter of fact, pick them up off Drive-Thru RPG before someone has a fucking meltdown and Venger has to go through another editing process. If you're not down with picking them up off Drive-Thru RPG, Giant Slayer Games or the Red Room store, I will put links in the description down below. Pick this up because you're going to want to. It is free. And that's the beautiful part is it's 100% free. So here we go. Sharing Chalt X cards. 10 pages. Actually with the Corthalis sigil on it. A weird, gross, awful, and hilarious revolution. Whenever I try to be innovative, it usually falls flat. Venger, dude, join the club. I post a lot of profound and insightful videos. They get nothing. The one stupid little thing I post like last night, I think I've posted an article where I show people some of the stuff Scott Garibay is talking about is fucking stupid and dangerous. And then it gets 30 or 40 views for an article. It's 30, 40 reads. It gets a pretty decent response. But then fuck me. Oh, it has to happen while I'm fucking playing. Oh. Oh, shit. Okay. Give me just a minute here. People, I got to figure this out. I am going to just take a little bit of a break. In the meantime, I'm going to find something here. Let me just play this real quick. Shit. Never mind. I'm just going to mute for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, never mind that. Who the hell knows? I'm tired of these people calling. Anyway, sorry about about that. But anyway, but I posted what was it? The real glitch in the Matrix was Agent Smith's hairline. Suddenly everybody jumps all over it. Or I get repetitive responses to my orcs and drow elves. Whatever. I don't care. They're still evil at my table. Sorry. Not even. Why? No, I'm not even sorry. That's just how it is. Because I'm tired of everyone trying to be drizzed. Okay. But anyway. But whenever I try to be innovative, it usually falls flat. Strive for awesomeness, not innovation. Well, I think I've accidentally stumbled upon both. It is my hope that Chalt X cards revolutionize your role-playing games. At the very least, it provides you with something new and different to try. Some believe that Chalt X cards are the necessary bridge between tried and tested no-nonsense OSR and drama-heavy story games. Others have surmised that these bizarre, exotic danger tools simply make your role-playing games more problematic. I'm not here to tell you what to think. My mission is to let these little beauties speak for themselves. So earlier this year, X cards, as in the safety tools where a player can stop the game in its tracks by holding up a card with an X on it, assuming the content is triggering, were mentioned on social media. I chimed in with an opinion, but an individual who shall remain nameless, only because I'm terrible with remembering names. I think you're getting better. I think you're getting better, Venger. Don't worry. Suggested I come up with my own X cards that actively promote the sort of stuff I like. Things that might be frowned upon in ordinary games where safety tools are a thing. I lolled and wondered what that would be like. Cards that brought certain Chaltian themes to the forefront of play, dark adjectives, forbidden tropes in the eyes of timid conformists. Then I gave it serious consideration. After thinking a while, why not give it a try? I've written about my experiments with the Chalt X cards on my blog. Google Venger's Old School Gaming blog. You won't have to. I will link that as well. Summing it up, the 4 sessions where Chalt X cards were used proved successful. They objectively enhanced the game. That's why this PDF exists, so I can share the good news. So, how it works. A player stimulates one of his available Chalt X cards. Every player should have his own set, but for now, 1 set per table is sufficient. And the GM does his damnedest to accommodate that card's designation, either in the current or upcoming encounter, scene, moment, etc. Each Chalt X card has one of the following 8 designations: Eldritch, Gonzo, Science Fantasy, Post-Apocalypse, Humor, Sleaze, Pop Culture, and Grindhouse Exploitation. These sufficiently cover all the bases that concern Chalt. Sure, there might be some overlap, sexy cannibal nuns, and one or more designations might have to stretch a bit to cover specific situations, but these hateful eight should do the trick. I do like that hateful eight reference. That was good. On the back of each card, I draw or paint the Corthalis Meta Sigil, the magical gateway that leads to Chalt. But if you make your own cards, feel free to adorn your set with anything you like, tentacles and infernal glyph of your own making, or clown suit polka dots. You can boil these down, I'm sure, into granular gains. However, these are the broad stroke benefits I've come up with. Stronger player interactivity for both the game and the narrative, which leads to increased immersion, immersion being key to the whole thing. Reinforcing the path of Chalt, Eldritch, Gonzo, science fantasy, post-apocalypse, humor, sleaze, pop culture, and grindhouse exploitation. I mean, if you're going to play Chalt, then fucking play Chalt, am I right? You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. You're not even out of line. Demands that GMs as well as players stay on their toes ready for improv at the drop of a hat. Guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, this is for those theater kids too. Theater kids who like edgy material. Why are you so opposed to this? I do not understand. It's kind of like those people who claim that Sylvia and Miguel from the Red Room are hateful people and their games are racist. No, they're not. You want games, especially fantasy games, especially D&D, without all the alignment shit. You've got it in the Wretched RPG. What are you bitching about? You actually got what you wanted in these games. You just don't like who they come from. You don't like that these people's views are not in lockstep with yours. And here it is. Ultimately, so who decides? Ultimately, it's up to the GM to decide what ends up transpiring during the session. However, the player who stimulated the Chalt X card is well within his or her rights to proffer an idea of their own. It's also perfectly fine for the GM to solicit suggestions from the other players at the table in order to have a variety of options to choose from. As the GM, you can go in and out of game proper, describing, answering questions, and adjudicating while still playing the game. I've been doing this for 40 years, and asking for someone's opinion about an aspect or of the narrative or simply talking about the game in between dramatic scenes doesn't ruin immersion. Remember, RPGs aren't just stories we experience. They're also stories we're in the process of telling. Taking a step outside to generate a more appropriate detail is just as much a part of the game as swinging a sword or casting a fireball. Getting the fiction right is just as important as determining if the warrior hit and calculating the damage of the spell. Now, these are the Chalt X cards here. So yes, you can print and make your own. Or if you don't feel like that, guess what? I have good news for you. Venger is actively making some cards, and you could get them in like the card paper stock, which is laminated, and they're flexible, so shuffling should be kind of easy. Or you could do what I did: get wood, baby. That sounded so much better in my head. Get wood, jeez. Okay, so yeah, I got wood, and I'm showing my wood right here. Here you go. This is the first time Raven shows his wood. He asked me what colors I wanted. I said it's got to be Chalt colors, chartreuse, and fuchsia. And I'm holding this upside down, aren't I? Yeah, I'm definitely holding them upside down. There we go. So there we go. Chartreuse and fuchsia all over these things. And yes, these are 100% wood. I mean, look at the size of these bad boys. I actually got asked if these were new tarot cards. I was like, no, these are not new tarot cards. They are, in fact, shiny. And you've seen this set before because Venger has shown them. And I got to say, these look and feel fantastic. These absolutely look and feel amazing. We've had post-apocalypse. We've had humor. We've had sleaze. Like I said, there's more than one way to do sleazy. Grindhouse exploitation. Eldritch. Science fantasy. Right there. we go. Gonzo. And then, of course, Post-Apocalypse right there. And when I posted the link to this, I posted the hashtag Big Deck Energy. Yep. I got wood and I got that Big Deck Energy. There we go. Venger, that's as sleazy as I'm getting, dude. there is the little problem. Venger mentioned like these cards, when you stack them, they tend to get stuck together. And just kind of leaving them on the table, they do tend to be that way. So I think I'm going to somehow create a box of sorts if I can. If I can find one, that would be great. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut pieces of paper to stick in between them. That way that doesn't happen. Maybe sprinkle some cornstarch over them. I don't know. It's got to be something in this, whatever this is. Is this my phone again? Oh my fucking God. Oh, you fucked up. Oh, yeah, we're okay, let's fuck with them. Fuck them. Right. Hello? Hello? Oh, they don't want to talk to me. They just... Boy, these people. Call me in the middle of a stream, don't want to talk to me, and they want to pull shit like this. Dude, I'm telling you right now. They are seriously just starting to piss me off. But anyway, those are the Chalt X cards. Now, again, how this works. The way I would do it, and this is a good way to do it, you have 8 of these. Put them around your map. Like, put 4 on one side of the map, 4 on the other, all kind of like facing each other. And then a player can pick one up and at random, randomize your game. Make it even better. This is just as good as a random table. And if you want to just use the PDF to create a random table, have an X die. You can roll a D8. You have 1 X die that someone rolls, and you will have that table. Someone rolls it. Okay, what'd you get? You got an 8. Well, that's Post-Apocalypse. We're going to lean a little more to Post-Apocalypse. Randomize it. Doesn't have to be an X card. It could be an X die. And either way, you've taken your creativity and unleashed it on the game itself. And this is why I do love Chalt. And I'm going to tell you one thing. I would love to have a group of players do this with me. However, if I can't find anybody to play Chalt with me, because some people are a little uncomfortable with certain things, even if they're modified, they're still there. I'm not going to lie. There's just some people around me that are fucking weak bitches. That's just how they are. I'm still friends with them, but I got to admit, some of them are just a little weak up there. I don't know what's going on with them. But I know one thing. Venger has taken this and has turned the X card on its head. So when I said he's got to be doing something to fuck with these people, he did not disappoint. He did not disappoint. Venger, good work. And actually, great work. These are amazing. By the way, a set, much like the one in my hand right now, custom, that's about $25, which is not bad considering they're wood. You will get wood. Hey, who'd have thought it? You can get wood for $25. And then a paper set is like $15. That's shipped. So if you want it, just contact Venger. I contacted him via actually he contacted me via Twitter asking me if I would look over the supplement. I'd already grabbed it. I had to know. I was just like, I really have to know about this thing. And I grabbed it out of morbid curiosity and was just, oh man, I was as happy as a puppy with a new toy, man. That was some good shit. So go ahead and get your Chalt X card PDF. Check it out. If you've already got Chalt, whether it's in hardcover or PDF, add this to your game. It's another little mechanic you can just kind of throw down. It's pretty cool. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to use it again. That's the good part. One of the best things about this game is there's so much. Like, he built the world out. He's got a nice lore to it. But there were some niches in that world that other people just went in there and they fit that motherfucker, and it worked out. It's a really good game. I do recommend buying the books. And let me tell you something. Wizards of the Coast had a price hike recently. Mercurius, how are you? You missed it. I was showing everybody I got wood. But anyway, I know Wizards of the Coast has had a price hike recently. Paizo has too. If I'm not mistaken, I think you could still get, as a matter of fact, I'm going to look right now. I'm going to make sure that you can get these books. There we go. Purchasing Chalt hardcovers. What we charging right now? So, guess what? You can still get the entire Chalt trilogy for $130 shipped. Now, if you live outside the U.S., it's going to be $65 shipping. That's the shipping prices on books have just gone way out of control. So now, how have I described Chalt before? Now, Vendor describes it as the anti-Wizards of the Coast D&D, the thing that defies conventional everything. It's never going to have the appeal of an authentic medieval whatever. It's never going to satisfy the gamers who need thousands of pages of rules, nor gamers who prefer slick Scandinavian death metal graphics and 5 sentences per page. Whoa. Vendor, yo. Dude, this is about it. This is pretty shock rock right here, and I'm down. So don't worry about that. However, Chalt is perfect for mixing, matching, and blending your favorite OSR thing. How else are you going to achieve that perfect Carcosa Dark Sun Star Wars Dune ripoff you wish was on late night Skinamax vibe? Yeah, I'd say so. In my own article, I said it, let's see. Think Dark Sun dictated by H.P. Lovecraft to Hunter S. Thompson on mescaline with a touch of Edgar Rice Burroughs, all filtered through the lens of Frank Herbert. And if you like characters like Deadpool, you're probably going to love this thing because it's so full of pop culture references. And if weird is your jam, you will not be disappointed in the least. Very, very simple. It's a cool game. Let's see. I've seen the cards already. Yeah, that's the thing. People were like, hey, you got mentioned. And yeah, I saw these cards. I'm going to tell you right now, the video did not do them justice. Seeing them in person was so much better. And yes, already they're starting to kind of stick together. They're starting to kind of stick together a little bit. I'm going to find a way to keep that from happening. But yeah, I'll also have to find a means of transporting them. So possibly make like an envelope or something. I'll put some slips of paper in between them, and that way they'll be nice and safe and preserved. But anyway, yeah, $130 for all 3 books. That is not bad considering the amount of content you're getting. It's awesome. Let me tell you right now, you would be a little hard pressed to, like, you could buy them individually, $40 shipped for the original Chalt, $45 for Fuchsia Malaise, $60 for Chartreuse Shadows. That's going to be more than $130 you're spending. You actually save some money buying the whole trilogy. And yes, they come with the PDFs. So yeah, you can email Venger, PayPal. You can PayPal him. You can. He also does Stripe, check, or well hidden cash. So send him an email for those alternatives. And let me tell you something. He says this is not a lie. Every child hardcover, as he put it, every gorgeous. That's not a lie. Child hardcover is limited edition, signed and numbered. Yes, you get the PDF for free. Production values are second to none. No WotC book has ever come close to this quality. That is not a lie. Where's the lie? There isn't one. I will be also linking this in the description. So if you happen to want these books and you really want to purchase them, I do recommend going to Venger and saying, "Hey, I would love a set of those books." And I guarantee you, he's going to be all kinds of pleased as well. And this is something. The more of these he sells, the closer we are to the fourth Chalt book in the trilogy. So supporting your independent games is going to be absolutely key. And guess what? My co-host is here.
Chalt! Oh man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I got wood.
Nice.
I was saying it earlier. He asked me, what colors would you like? I was like, dude, it's got to be Chalt colors, man. Go with fuchsia and chartreuse. It has to be that.
I'm sorry I'm late. In a short segue to our pagan stuff, because Raven and Joe got pagan stuff. Weirdest permutation of things. So, I'm on the Norse path, you're on the Norse path, we're Norse path guys, and you'd think like, oh yeah, Thor's our boy. We love Thor. And I do. Like, Thor is great, right? But some years ago, back when my folks and I were living in Yelm, a tree hit our house and damn near killed me. Right? And I am man enough to admit that ever since, windstorms scare the shit out of me. Right? So there I am last night, just me and the dog, dark of night, trying to get my sleep, and just all I can do all night is listen to the wind and the rain and every fucking branch or like pine cone that creeps across my roof. I clench like I'm about to explode. So it's like, sleep? What's that?
Joe?
Yeah.
Have you tried weed?
I'm told that weed would mellow me out a bit, but I always say the same thing. I missed that boat.
The boat?
Okay. I live in Washington State. Washington State was forever a buyer's market for weed because it grows wild up here.
Yeah.
Right? But it was illegal. And I'm like, look, I ain't got a hookup, and I ain't gonna trust some rando to give me oregano. So, until it becomes legal, I'm not in. I'm not on the experimental train, right? By the time it became locally legal, right? I was in my 30s, and I'm like, well, I'm not really in the experimental mood anymore. I'm not in that zone, right? So people were like, "Oh, no, we can get you." And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to weed." So I missed that specific window of entry, like between 16 and 19, where it's like, "I'll try anything, man."
Well, I hate to break it to you, but according to a study that crossed my timeline not all that long ago, probably this morning, cannabis use among teens and adolescents is way down by like 50%. You know what the top group of people actually using it? Adults.
Well, that's because of two things. One, legalization made it more expensive, not less, because geniuses didn't put together that once it was legalized, it became commercialized, right? and the quality actually went down because now the seller was no longer on the hook to actually produce a quality product, right? It was just having product. And then the other half is it's not sexy to do pot anymore. No. What I mean is like it's like Satanism for teens that are too poor to try atheism. It's like, I'll show you, Mom. I'll start doing weed, then you'll know that I'm a badass, right? The second it was legal, and now Mom and Dad are doing it too. It's like, oh, I guess I gotta find it. I guess I gotta find a real drugs to get to teenage rebellion with. It's still the gateway, but it's not. It's not the active resistance anymore to do weed. Everybody's doing it, so why try? Why bother?
Gateway to what exactly?
Okay, so usually when they say gateway drug, they're talking about the idea that weed is the gateway to other drugs, which we all know is BS, right?
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm talking about is the idea that, like, if you're going to try drugs, right? If you've never done one drug before, right? Like, marijuana is the starter pack. It's like, do you want to try some weed? Sure, I could try.
But,
Can you vend me one marijuanas and I'll try it? Right.
Okay, just a point. This is not a drug; it's a plant.
No, I know, but I'm talking from the legal social perspective, not the literal this you can get this anywhere perspective. Again, it grows wild up here. It's not just a plant; it's a weed. It ain't hard. You actually don't need the store. Get your booties on. Go take a hike. Find some wild. Take out your little fucking plant book and be like, that's poison oak. That's weed. And take a cutting home. Grow some in your closet.
Okay, I'm going to be in full agreement on, like, if you find some wild, go ahead and
yeah.
The states where it's legal, I can tell you this. Most states where, the federal farm bill pretty much made it legal. Here's the thing: for it to be commercially available to just anyone, the THC has to be at a certain level. It has to be capped at a certain level. Now, if you want to go even more potent, it takes having that card. So I understand that. And that's not going to be covered by prescription. That's all going to be out of pocket. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But I can tell you with all certainty here, for someone like me, I barely take fucking Tylenol. Right now I've got D3 sitting on my fucking desk, which I pretty much take one a day. Honestly, if I take anything, even such as like ibuprofen or something like that,
hey Brian,
it will work. It will work. It'll take a little time, but it will work. If you hit me with like, and this actually happened when I was living down south. First time I threw my hips out of alignment and was like stiff as hell, getting around like an old man. I actually made the mistake of going to the ER, and they put me on Toradol and Flexeril. And I'm going to tell you right now, cyclobenzaprine, which is the generic of one of those, I can't remember which one, turned me from this into fucking Ozzy Osbourne. It was barely speaking, mate. Like, no one could understand me. I was trying to call out sick to work. I had to do that for 3 fucking days. And you have to call out like every day.
I can just see that you're on the phone. Hey, they're fucking Prince of Darkness, man.
Fuck you, Osbourne, Prince of fucking Darkness. How the fuck did I get this number? That is how I'm speaking to my captain.
Right.
I had to talk to the captain on day shift. Then I have to talk to my captain, who was night shift. I worked nights pretty much the whole bid there. And neither of them knew who the hell I was or could understand me. I was so fucked up on this low dose of cyclobenzaprine that my captain, The first fucking day I called out, he was like, "Don't bother calling in the next 2 days." He was like, "I'm just gonna I'm gonna take your K time and I'm gonna apply it to the next 3 days. Don't worry
Yeah.
about a thing. I got you." He's like, "Man, dude, get some sleep. You sound fucked up right now." I'm really fucked up. Like, I don't know what the fuck they gave me. And it barely took the edge off the pain. Like the pain was so intense, it barely took the edge off. I couldn't sit up. Oh, going to the bathroom was fun. I could barely stand. I could barely walk. A friend of mine told me, "Hey, go down to the chiropractor." Keep in mind, this dude is half a block away from me. Okay, I just have to go down to the end of the street, cross, and then go to his office, which is like another half block. So total, I'm walking 1 block. That should take me about 5 minutes. It took me nearly 30 to get to his fucking office.
You start
I was
walking. The soundtrack from
shuffling.
Lawrence of Arabia plays. Da, da, da,
So,
da, da, da.
so that is how hard this shit will hit me. I know I'm a lightweight. I get 2 or 3 drinks in me, 2 or 3 beers, man, I'm good. I'm good. After that, I'm like, nope. The one time I drank more than about 2 or 3 horns of mead, the first time I did it, dude, I was so hungover. This is Black Friday a couple of years ago. I was so hungover. I was trying to hide it. I was like Dr. McCoy in the later Star Trek movies. Just everything sounded like it was going off inside of a huge bell. I was hurting. So, and I did not have, dude, my horn is 150 milliliters. That's it. So I had 4 of those. So I had about like 600 milliliters of Odin's Skull mead, and it put an axe right dead in mine. So now I'm at work, and that's like, oh, I'm never doing this again. And I don't know. I don't know why I didn't just call out sick. I should have just called out sick that day. I really should have, but I didn't. But anyway, that being neither here nor there, I know if ever I did like what's available to me right now in small amounts, I'm gone.
I find it very appropriate that we're talking about drugs and chult. Uh, but here's the
You're
thing.
not wrong.
But
You're
here's
not
the thing.
wrong.
Here's the thing. As a for instance, reasons Joe's not into weed. So I was living with a pair of housemates who were into weed. Okay, and not only were they, first of all, we have to be honest. They were solidly addicts, not just people that partake. They could not function without their weed, and they lost their shit when they ran out. It's like, dude, you bought it. You know how much you've got,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's the other thing is like if I were to do it,
Yeah,
it's not going to be like, honestly, I do not want to be a stoner. Now
yeah,
there's a difference between, the user, the stoner, full blown addiction. I noticed because my aunt
yeah,
was, I think she was a radiology tech. I think she definitely worked in the medical field, but my uncle used to do it constantly, and like I think part of his frontal lobe had shrunken, and I think they were trying to attribute the two, and I was like, I don't think that's accurate. I think you're mixing correlation with causation there. But anyway, like this dude had done it over a very, very long period of time. And keep in mind, the guy's profession was rodeo clown. So,
right.
constant injuries, pain pills, booze, that was part of that culture. It's akin to professional wrestling almost. When guys keep getting injured and those kinds of things can happen, muscle tears, broken bones. So, hospital,
Right.
that's going to be part of your life. That's your life now, no matter how fit you are. So he was doing all of that on top of the weed. So and the rate at which he did it probably didn't help any. But I've heard this. It can be habit forming first. Then after a long period of time, it becomes addictive. I can understand that. I don't think it's the substance you're getting addicted to, I think it's that euphoria, if I'm not mistaken,
Right,
that
right.
you're getting addicted to.
Right.
And hey, if it's euphoria you're addicted to, who can fucking blame you? Especially
Now,
when the world around you kind of, in your perception, the world around you kind of sucks. But in any case, if I were to do something like that, it would definitely be kind of occasionally, because I
right.
wouldn't, I don't want to, I wouldn't want to build up a tolerance. It would be like me drinking 2 or 3 beers a day and then thinking, hey, I need that 4th one. Then later, hey, I need that 5th one. Hey, now I need to kill a whole 6-pack. I don't want that in my life. I
Yeah.
just don't.
The
So recreational, I don't see a problem with it.
the other thing is obviously brands are going to be brands, and different brands are going to have different qualities. So, obvious, like a certain amount of variance is to be expected. But the thing that I noticed, because here I am being clean and paying attention, right, is like I said, the quality of product went down. So even though now the grow operations were operating on an industrial scale to make packaging for the stores, right? More seeds, more stems, and my personal favorite, because they were constantly complaining about it, uh, 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 weed killer on your cannabis. And it's like, yeah, the tasty taste of fucking not DDT. You know, that's what you want on your weed,
Well,
right?
and the
And
thing is, most
it's
of
like,
the most of
should I?
these most of what you buy is now, like, I've seen it because I like the vape shops I go to for my vape stuff,
Yeah,
namely stuff like this right here,
right.
American Patriots. And guess what? I add my own flavor. So guess what? I don't care what the law
Yeah,
is. I'm still getting flavored. Um, the when going for this, I do see it. They've got it in gummy form. They got it in vape form. They got it in like little these jars with these like nuggets, and then they got these pre-rolled joints that look like big trumpet cones or something like that. And then they got all kinds of really cool stuff that you can use. And I'm just like, honestly, the best part of this for me is going in there and I see all these pipes, and these things are like works of art. They're beautiful. And I'm not saying that I want to start, blazing up. But dude, if I were going to, they're marketed for tobacco use only. we all
yeah,
know that.
right.
We all know it's bullshit. Marketing is what it is, right?
And people and nobody makes hot chocolate in their Keurig either. You know?
For coffee only. Bullshit. I'm making tea, goddammit. But anyway, I can say this: the cannabis vape pens I've seen, the people using those, I haven't seen them becoming addicted to that. I will say this: there are still people. I see this all the time, and let's address addiction for just a moment. I still see people buying cigarettes because I work in a place that sells cigarettes. These people are buying them at like $13 a pack. It is crazy that this is so much cheaper. And they're like, yeah, I tried it. I just didn't like it. And it's like,
oh,
it
it
takes a minute to find your sweet spot.
oh
You
it,
really have to, kind of stick with it a minute.
it's
And
extra funny. The stoners I was living with would buy cigarettes or bum them off of my folks when they ran out of weed because they had mistimed and couldn't wait for the weed store to be open. So they were so addicted to having something in their face that even though they had quit smoking, right? There I am. I'm asleep at 6 o'clock in the morning. I start hearing the screaming. I get up. I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" And they're like, "I need fucking nicotine." And it's like, "I need drugs, or I'm going to start losing my shit." It's like the store opens in 3 hours, man. What the fuck? It's like
well, I remember Snoop Dogg had something to say. Um, let's see.
Snoop, the guru of pot.
Well, he actually stopped doing it altogether for a while.
Right, but I mean, he is objectively the high philosopher. If it was a
He
cult,
he is he is. But there was a video he did, and I'm trying to find it now, but I
Oh,
don't think I can find
Brian,
it.
they thought those people were pieces of shit, but they respected that I was an adult living in my own house, so that I had to make certain compromises in order to succeed.
But anyway, he said like he was going to he was going to other countries. He said other countries their weed's garbage. He said because they mix a little bit of weed with tobacco and they get this major head rush out of it. And this is like I'm going to say this. This is one thing I love to argue a little bit, but I haven't noticed anyone becoming addicted to these, uh, especially if they're done by companies that are legit. However, point taken. Yes, uh, yeah, that it is true that there's that you just take a cartridge, you load it in, you start vaping. Now the black market ones were the most dangerous because they had a vitamin D extract. That is what started causing this whole vaping hysteria.
Well,
The
that and the tobacco companies really like to cause trouble. They don't want a threat to their monopoly.
Okay, so here we go. Chemically refined products now, unless it's greenhouse grown, I think it's better because I was about to say this in most states where it's legal. Well, I mean, since the Farm Bill legalized it pretty much it sort of legalized it at the federal level. Um, you can grow it yourself as long as it's in an enclosed and locked space. So you can have a greenhouse that's locked. You can grow it yourself. And yes, now selling it is going to be something else. You're going to have all kinds of other stuff go along with that. But for personal use, you're fine, as far as I know. Now, check your local laws. Don't be listening. Don't be hanging and said, "Oh, this rando on the internet said it was all good." Check your local laws, just like I pointed out with that Scott Garibay thing. Definitely check your local laws on that.
It's Mr. Wizard all over again. Just put it in half a Coke bottle.
There you go. Okay,
Get a 20 ounce and grow it in your life. Are you growing wheat? No, this is just an experiment.
right. But anyway, like I said, check your local laws. Make sure you're good. But as I understand it, as long as it's in an enclosed and locked space, you're fine. You can have your UV lamps and all that stuff. Believe it or not, you can do the same thing for kitchen herbs. I mean, just grow them with your kitchen herbs. It should be fine. But anyway,
I should put together a small box, and I should send you my mom's vape liquid. Because the thing is, my mom was getting into vape just for flavor, not for cannabis. But she stopped because she had a problem. She kept falling asleep and dropping her vape pen and breaking it.
Ouch.
And they were too expensive to keep replacing. So I've got a drawer full of vape liquid that I'm never going to use.
Well, I will definitely vape that up. So here's what's going on. That's now how crazy potent they're. I said it almost seems like Walter White decided to manufacture cannabis instead of meth. That's how crazy potent they are now. Now, okay, Brian, let me ask you this before I say anything else. Are we talking crazy potent as in the medical grade? Because the medical grade is crazy potent. You're doing very small amounts, especially if you're like me.
Party at my house.
You're going to do very small amounts of that. In the edible department, I will tell you, I'm going to play that video again because I played it while no one was watching. So I'll play that. There's a video that I did watch. I played just a minute ago, and I've got it right here on deck. But I'll play it again. But are we talking commercially available, or are we talking medical? Because those are two different things. The THC, I think it's capped at a certain level for the what I like to call over the counter stuff, and you do have to be 21 or older to buy it. So there's the kicker. Medical grade is so much more potent, and you have to have your medical card and a prescription from the doctor to get that. So that's what I want to know. I know what you said. I just kind of want to clarify what you mean, and then I'll go on. But I have heard that the that the weed that was available, we're going to say back in the 1990s, was 2 to 3 times the potency of the weed that was available in the 1960s when the hippie movement was using it a lot. And we said, here we go. Last time I was buying from the store, I developed a tolerance so high that the ones I was using would floor other people after a couple hits, 30% THC. Oh, and okay, in California, you can buy all strains. Well, you can still buy all strains here, but it's the potency that makes all the difference. Like, I know here in Jersey, to get certain potencies, you have to have that medical card. If you don't have that medical card, then you do have options available, but they're just not going to be as potent. And I'm going to tell you right now, I personally, I don't think I'd want okay, so in California, you don't even need a medical card. Anyone over 21 can buy anything. Okay, we're still New Jersey. The East Coast here is still a little bit restricted. So there's that. But see, this is. But let's see, California law is like law for alcohol. Just show your driver's license. Yeah, okay. Kind of same here, but for the more potent stuff, you need the medical card. I think it's the same way in Pennsylvania too. But this is, Brian. This is what I would want to avoid, building up that tolerance, because this is okay. One of my favorite things in the world, chocolate chip fudge brownies. I'm not gonna lie, I love those things. And if you put some in front of me, I might have 2 squares out of that thing, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna just fucking stop. Because I know one thing, having them on that rare occasion is one thing. Having them all the time is probably not good for me. So I don't think if I participated in that, I don't think I'd want it like all the time. And even if I did have it on consecutive days, I would want it in very small doses, very small amounts. Because it's like drinking with me. I don't like being completely hammered. I won't remember anything. I'll wake up feeling horrible the next day. As I understand, it's not that way for weed. Like, weed doesn't really have much of a hangover, but if any, I don't know. You tell me. I couldn't tell you. But I could tell you that alcohol for me definitely packs a punch on the hangover. And that's why I avoid doing a lot of drinking, and I try to really have like at least a couple bottles of water in between drinks. That way I don't dehydrate, which is part of what causes a hangover. So let's see. What's the hangover? Some lethargy the next day, but you can still be functional. Okay, so you're not impaired, but you're just kind of like, okay. Little lethargy is not terrible, but if you're having a lot of lethargy, it's probably not a good sign.
Well, Brian also says party at my house, and I have no party at my place. If my house was prepared to receive guests, it would be pretty boring because I'm drug free. So it'd be like, I got coffee and I got games. So just come to my place, be lethargic, and play games all day. It'd be great.
Well, let me ask you this: do you need us to bring snacks?
That is the deal. I am an adherent of the ancient pact, which is I provide the house, and I probably provide the game, so the players are on the hook to provide me with food and tribute.
You know what? And there shall be no brown M&Ms in the backstage area, otherwise the venue forfeits the entire show at full pay.
Look, I'm not one of those people that believes in like in spiking the well. I'm not like, I'll give you extra XP for it's like none of that stuff. But I will admit, if somebody were to show up at my house and be like, "Hi Joe, this is me, this is my snack, and this is Candy, she's here for the hour," I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
I don't think I'm bringing hookers and blow to your fucking game, dude.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too. And most I'll just give you a fleshlight and be like, whatever you do with that, I don't want to know. That is yours. Here's the thing of lube to go with it.
That would be
stuff to clean it.
That'd be an interesting gamer present for my birthday. It's like, "Hi Joe, I'm here for your birthday."
Don't open that here. Don't open that at the table. Don't open that at the table.
I opened it, I looked at it, I'm like,
you didn't ask for blood.
Oh, no,
I know where it was
I
going.
open it at the table, I look at it, I lift it up like it's a baby. I'm like, just
Jesus
what I always
Christ.
wanted.
Holy fuck. Oh, no.
From Bad Dragon.
Well, I see that Joe has tapped the sleaze card here.
Schultz.
Yeah, you have stimulated the sleaze card.
Look, not only is this a Schultz
What
episode.
the fuck? Are these people
yes.
fucking stupid?
Yes.
Hang on. Hello? Hello? They call me, but they never want to talk to me.
No, I heard the noise. That's a machine. That's a machine trying to verify your number.
Aware.
Yeah.
I'm only aware it's a machine.
That's Skynet, guys.
Ugh.
But no, like, not only is this a Chult episode, sir, but we have about a fourth of our Horde Wars game here.
That is true. Yeah, we do. We do. At least we're not getting swatted on a live stream. You know what? Hey, I'll definitely take that. But anyone who forces their way in is going to meet Brooke here, and she's thirsty. So we don't want to reenact that Here's Negan scene from The Walking Dead. I would not advise breaching the door that way. A simple knock and announce yourself politely will suffice.
So let's see. I need to send you a box for you, and I need to send you a box for your bat. And inside the box with the bat is a flashlight with a little lumen.
Hey, I said she was thirsty. I didn't say she was horny.
Well, no, she's not covered
in
spikes.
Let's just remember that. So, but anyway, like we have accidentally Joe has stimulated the sleaze card and let that out of the bag.
Oh boy.
Joe has stimulated his first ever X card. He broke his fairy.
You have the actual X cards. I'm aware of the joke. I saw them available for $0, and I was like, I don't want to give that site my business.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to say this. If you find something for free on Drive-Thru-RPG, in my opinion, you're not paying them a dime. Download it. Grab it. I don't care. That that doesn't hurt me. Hell, I'm going to straight up be honest with you. When it went live, it was at the time it was only available through Drive-Thru-RPG. That's where I went and got it.
Yeah.
It doesn't harm the boycott that I still have against them. I'm just not giving them money. That's all.
I only bring up because I looked at it, but I'm not familiar with the specific nomenclature. So, like, is stimulating the cards what you're supposed to do?
Yes.
Are you stimulating them?
You're stimulating them. All you got to do is tap or raise. That's it. That counts as stimulating the card. That's the way Vedger put it. Stimulating the card.
Is this a very Slanesh 40K thing where you touch the card and say, yes, you have stimulated my sleaze card?
No. Okay, so the way this works.
Okay.
You could do this. Like, I even suggested a different way if you didn't want to print cards and make them and all that good stuff, or whatever your case.
I don't know. Wood tile is pretty solid.
Okay, yeah, wood. Hey, I got wood, and I gotta say it's pretty fantastic. But anyway, yep, I too have stimulated the sleaze card earlier in the stream. I regret nothing. But anyway, the long and short of this is Jesus Christ, phrasing. Okay, so to get to the point, God, you guys are a bad influence on me, and it's not like I'm already fucking this up.
Okay. Look.
Getting to the point. Okay. So, the PDF calls for every player to have their own deck here of 8 cards. These 8 cards each have an element of the game on it. So, sleaze, science fantasy, eldritch horror, humor, pop culture, post-apocalypse, so on and so forth. All the things that the game is. And so anytime a player wants to see more of one of these elements, they pick one and they'll be like, boom, I want to see more pop culture. And then the GM does what they can to accommodate that element. You're already it's playing on elements already played, but now what it does is it provides a weird mechanic that emphasizes kind of one element, or depending on how many players you have, 4 elements, 5 elements, so on and so forth, over the rest. So
this is why I like Venger. Venger is smart. Venger does not get enough credit for being smart. Okay? Because here's the thing. Think about the original X card. Okay?
Yep.
It's built on the idea of interrupting your game to remove elements you find offensive. Right? And it does not contribute to the game in a positive fashion.
It doesn't. No.
Right? On the other hand, here we have Venger's X cards for Chult, and they are. I'm sorry. This sounds like I'm being disparaging, but I'm not. These are stupid. Okay, these are stupid fun, right? But what is it doing? It's adding to the game with a yes but by saying, "I love this sleaze. Give me more." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that has a natural counter effect that the things that aren't on that card are being not necessarily disinclined, but they're going to appear less, right? So if you don't like, the destruction of innocent bodies, right? You're not into like child murder, right? Then the more pop culture cards get played, the more pop culture references get made, the less child murder there is.
Well, okay. Let's go back to that sleaze thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I pull the sleaze card here, then, or let's just say one of my players does, because I think I can answer this from a GM's perspective here.
Right.
All right, Joe, you, me, and Brian are sitting around. We're playing Chalt.
I'm sorry.
And we damn well should at some point. I would love
yeah.
to do a live play of that, because just a one shot or something, that would be awesome.
The last time I played Chalt, I was very restrained. I think next time I play Chalt, I will be very crazy.
So we're playing Chalt, and you pull the sleaze card on me. Okay, now sleaze does not have to mean, and this is in the text of Chalt itself,
right?
That the butcher has his sister reach her hand down his pants and start, messing with it.
No,
it does not have to mean that. I stated this earlier in the stream. What could come next is, here's a pirate. He's one of the best smugglers in Chalt. He can get you through Skeever country without a single shot being fired. He can get you where you need to go. He can get you from Agrabah to the Black Pyramid and back, no problem. But he's got that reputation, but there's something about this guy. You shouldn't trust him. But he's got the rep you need. You've heard great things about him. You've also heard some not so savory things about him. You hire him. 3/4 of the way through getting you to where you need to go, he turns on you and attempts to confiscate whatever it is you want smuggled along with you. Like he rolls over on you. That is one sleazy ass pirate.
Oh yeah.
He's just out for the highest bidder. So you have to hope nobody bids higher than you. That's an example of sleaze. That's what I would do.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. You could also pull that same card and say, yeah, I'd like to see more of this in the game for the next session.
Right.
And you could do that. I have another mechanic. So if one set will do, I can lay them all face up, and then then the players will know which one they're picking. So they'll be like, ooh, I want more pop culture elements. Boom, pop culture or humor, as this one says. I want more humor elements. Okay, cool. I will turn this thing into Deadpool right here. Okay, someone picks pop culture elements. Hey, you got this guy, you got this weird mad scientist looking dude and some kid carrying a skateboard with no wheels next to a broken down silvery car. And all he could say, looking under the hood or trying to pick through the back of this thing, is "Great Scott!" You'll have stuff like that.
I don't know, Raven. I might have to X card this. This sounds heavy.
But the gravitational field of Chalt just increased. So
by how much? By how much did it
these
increase?
are examples of how that could be used. I have one more example. This idea literally came to me.
Would you estimate that the magnetic field of Chalt increased about 61.8 gigawatts?
The only thing to do that is a bolt of lightning. But anyway.
Bolt of lightning?
But anyway, instead of doing the Chalt X cards, if you don't have the X cards, you don't feel like making them, do this. List all 8 of those elements. One die in the center of the table, a D8, roll that D8 at random. Now, the other way you can randomize this with the cards themselves, lay them face down. Whenever you pick a card, then the cards, you pull the pop culture card. Okay, now all the cards have to be kind of shuffled around. You can truly randomize it that way. Or you can leave it not so random. You can use them for the next session. The elements will be picked in the GM's note. Players can just pick up a card and show it, and then you'll emphasize those for the next one. As I understand it, Pundit did a video where naturally he's shitting all over this idea, and I'm like, he's obviously missed the fucking point. Obviously.
Raven, I just had the coolest idea.
But hold on.
Okay.
He shit all over it. Naturally, can we expect no less? Anyway, a player stimulates one of his available Chalt X cards. Every player should have his own set, but for now, one set per table is sufficient. And the GM does his damnedest to accommodate that card's designation in either the current or upcoming encounter, scene, moment, etc. So that's how it's done. The whole explanation is right here in these 10 pages. There are the cards back and front. And yes, you can just print these out and cut them out if you want to. There's no problem. But again, if you didn't want to do that, you could always just create a Chalt X die, a Chalt X D8, and do it that way to truly just randomize it. I mean, you never know. 2 players might roll the same exact thing, but I think this supplement is absolute genius. It fucks with these people just enough that they're gonna tear their hair out because there's really nothing they can do but except report it to Drive Through RPG, and Drive Through RPG will, in my estimation, anyone with any sense in their head would look at this and go, "There's nothing here that you could possibly find objectionable," and they'll just leave it. Now, I know the moderators at Drive Through RPG, they really don't have a whole lot of sense, so they will just, they will force a rewrite or force a title change or something like that. That's why I do recommend getting on Giant Slayer Games or the Red Room's site. Again, links will be in the description below for later viewers. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to go to through Drive Through RPG, but for now, go ahead and grab it. It costs nothing, and on top of that, getting it now actually makes your copy safe from people who want a later revision of it. But hello to Shadow and Sun. Thank you so much for joining us.
So
anyway, you had a cool idea.
I have a hilariously awesome idea. So you start with a Chalt game. You have some fun. You tool around. You do some Chalt. You run into the old man, the kid, and the silvery time device. Right. Because they're trying to fix Chalt, because that's like one of the goals that exists. Right. So you go back in time to Welcome to St. Cloud, and you keep your Chalt characters, but you play in a wretched setting. Right? And Welcome to St. Cloud is so nice and so mellow and so calm while you're walking around in your, ultra skin tight, hyper revealing clothing. And something you do screws up the future. So when you try to go back to Chalt, you swap to either a wretched game or your other game line of choice for what is basically Biff's version of reality. Right? And everything is so awful that you have to go back in time again to fix what you did so you can just get back to regular Chult.
There we go. Okay. Better now. Sorry, I had to run to the head while you were doing that.
So you heard none of that.
No, I heard like do the whole time travel thing.
Yeah,
you fuck something up.
Yeah,
It results in a future so
I'm just
terrible,
saying-
or a
I'm
present
just
so terrible that you have to go back in time again to fix what you fucked up.
to fix it so it comes out as Chult of all things.
Oh wow.
But the thing it is like it's the ultimate usage of the pop culture reference because it's not just we found the DeLorean and the Doc and Marty, right? But we went on a Back to the Future story as
Like,
Chult
how are you going to
characters.
carry the entire party in the DeLorean? It barely fit 3 people.
I know that's like part of the joke. It's like this
Yeah.
could never work. It's like, well, could we like strap ourselves to the outside? It's like,
Yeah.
are you sure? No, I'm just imagining when you swap to the since there's no RPG to the best of my knowledge that just does 1950s because that'd be boring as shit, right? That's why I'm like you do Wretched versus you do Welcome to St. Cloud, right? Right? And I'm just imagining it's like you step into the diner, everyone stops and stares. Why? Because you're wearing little leather panties and you have a broadsword and you have chiseled abs and you're like, hello.
Everybody's looking at you going, golly gee, look at those bodybuilders.
It's like, is there a convention going on? I heard there's a convention going on. You know, they quietly incorporate that you're the weird people and then they pretend you don't exist.
Yeah.
In the way of small town nice folks.
The only one treating you with any respect is past Doc and past Mayor or pre-Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Right.
The only one's treating you with any respect.
The past Doc is like, of course, in the future, all of mankind's hang-ups about sexual liberation will be gone, and everyone wears almost nothing. And it's like, well, yes, but not for that reason. You're trying to explain.
Who's the guy that's name starts with a Z?
Zardoz or Dr. Zaius?
Probably Zardoz. I don't know what the Brian. What's the reference? Is it Back to the Future related? Because I don't know of anyone. Zardoz.
Zardoz.
Okay, yeah.
The giant floating rock.
Yeah.
Life is death.
Yeah, Zardoz becomes a reality in Chult.
I mean, Zardoz is basically Chult when you think about it.
You know, I've never seen that movie ever.
Oh, it's actually funny. One of my peers on the Gospel of Comics is like, I've never seen Zardoz, and I'm like, well, I'm told you should see it at least once in your life. Maybe we need to get together a big watch view together, and just it's like, what are we doing, guys? We're watching Zardoz.
We're watching
Are we gonna
Zardoz,
understand it? No.
Boy, that would have to be a pretty heavily edited. That would have to be pretty heavily edited to be put up for at least under an hour. Because I'll tell you this much, I watch channels like Cinebinge and Dawn Marie and You Me in the Movies. I absolutely love their reactions to different movies because the people from You Me in the Movies I think they're slightly younger than me. I think Dawn may be about my age, if not young. She definitely looks a lot younger than me. The George and Simone from Cinebinge are definitely younger than me. But watching those channels, just those channels alone. And Devin G, he's actually younger than me. Watching those movie reaction channels, when you see them react to movies that I grew up with, you grew up with, I'm actually just waiting for one of them to go, why don't they make movies like this anymore? I came across one lady, she was discussing the 1992 movie Dracula, and she was like, this movie is so horny. And I'm not just saying that lightly. I mean that, and I mean it in a good way. This is people we need more like this because
Right.
we used to be a society. And I was like,
I remember that.
preach.
The
Yes.
no, what you do, Brian? Because I think this is absolutely hilarious. Is we run it like when the Aqua Teen guys did the public viewing of their movie, right? So we're all regular size, and we're watching the movie on our regular screens, and you have the publicly viewable screen for Zardoz be about a 1/2 inch cube in the lower right hand corner,
Oh,
so
no.
no one can see it. Because if they're going to copyright strike you for that, they have to show you the exact panel that was offensive.
Well, I've seen those same channels, same channels that I mentioned. They do have Patreon, and it's really quite inexpensive. We're talking about maybe $1 to $2 per channel, just to kind of join, and you can take part in their polls, help them pick what they watch next, and all that good stuff. But even like Mary Cherry will mention, and I watch her too. She's pretty awesome. I can tell you, she's definitely younger than me. And she mentions you have to have a copy of the movie to watch along. So you can have her on one screen, movie on another, and then you get a real time reaction. And honestly, I think that would probably even be the safest route. Be like, we're going to be reacting to Zardoz. You're going to see our reaction, but you have to have a copy of this movie, and we will give you a countdown timer of when to start, and then we'll do it together. That I think is probably the easiest way to do it. And I think that lower corner thing is. Oh, let me tell you, the first time I watched some of these movie reaction channels, I know Cinebinge loves to have like we're side by side right now.
Yeah.
In the center would be the movie, and then occasionally it would blur out, and some things would be muted. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I'm mostly goofing. I actually know that would be ass.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I always find hilarious is how older movies either become more extreme as we get more conservative, right? Or become less extreme when at the time they were considered outright awful and horrible to consume. Because by comparison, while I'm aware that Zardoz has some weird shit, it's pretty pedestrian compared to like what you could see on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You don't actually see Sean Connery's massive dongle, through the entire movie.
But you do see the banana hammock.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man.
With suspenders.
Because you and I know, I'm a huge Ice Pirates fan.
Oh, right? Speaking of which, hold on.
Shit. If Raven comes back with a space herpy, I don't know if we can be friends.
Check out what I found at the the secondhand record store. It also sells DVDs. I found it. It was like $1 or $2.
Oh yeah.
I have not seen this movie yet, but I am going to.
Oh man, okay? So you're in for a treat, both because it is very high on the sleaze factor of Chult,
of course,
and it is very high on the so bad it's good scale.
I should point this out, and this needs to be said. At one point in my life, hockey actually came to Louisiana. It was semi-local to me. So our civic center, where it would be played, was a 45-minute drive away. I didn't get to go to many of these games. In fact, I didn't get to go to any of them. My mom did. My mom was like a huge fan. She got season tickets one time and just constantly went. Watched our local team play. This local team was called, I'm not kidding you, the Lake Charles Ice Pirates.
Nice.
Upon hearing that, my reaction was
space herpes.
People are going to twist that. They're going to twist that, and there's nothing I can do. I can't. I can't protect you, man. I get it. I get it. Because Lake Charles is steeped in pirate culture.
Yar.
Their whole history is built around pirate Jean Lafitte. And he's stashing his contraband around the Gulf Coast. And even in parts of Lake Charles where most of it allegedly was buried, hasn't been found.
Serious question. So, I'm a big fan of various kinds of interesting history, and I found out that in the San Gabriel Mountains, which is a upper class neighborhood of LA, people still to this day go out and they check out the caves and everything, because there's a bunch of caves and whatnot in the mountains, and look for artifacts from Santa Ana and Geronimo, right? And have found them, right? Do people still go around in that area and look for pirate loot? Do they still find pirate loot?
Home the shit out of those beaches with the fucking, like, Lake Charles actually does have some beaches,
right?
Not big ones or pretty ones, but beaches where you could go and you could have a decent time. But there are people combing those beaches with metal detectors. I'm not even kidding you.
Did they ever find anything that isn't modern?
That I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I've never bothered to ask, but that's only because the last time I went, which when that's been like 30, 40 some years ago, somewhere in that range. But they comb those beaches. They comb Holly Beach, which is like closer to the Gulf Coast. And and Holly Beach used to be really cool, good place to go. Not so much anymore.
Look, you can take as much as you want, but that cut in the scale, that belongs to One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. It was crazy then how many people do it. I don't know how many people do it anymore. I think these days, like, I know Lake Charles has an annual Contraband Days Festival. Like, where I lived, we had our Railroad Days Festival. That was in the second weekend in April every year. This year, they just celebrated 40 years of that. It started when the Railroad Museum, which was actually a Missouri Pacific depot, it was a Missouri Pacific depot. That was built. It was like the first Railroad Days Festival was on its 60th anniversary. So now that building is officially 100 years old. And I think I have a picture of it in my downloads. I'll look and see. I'll show it off. It's a crazy thing to see. Like, seriously, this is what did I miss?
Ryan James
celebrate Dragonlance modules. Boy, don't I wish. That would be cool if they did.
No, I'm just vaguely grumpy now. Not because of anything wrong with Contraband Days, but because you guys have a holiday as cool as Contraband Days, and yet I am told that in some principalities of the country they are getting rid of Halloween, that they are doing away with it entirely, and it's like, you motherfucker.
And just for the record, anyone supporting that, I don't know. I can't help you.
You're not my friend. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a great association moving forward.
Tailgate Halloween was bad enough, but taking away my Halloween, that is
what the fuck? Tailgate Halloween. Oh,
have you never heard of that shit?
I only heard about it this year, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, I loathe it. I loathe it. Here's the thing. Okay, traditional Halloween. You have to walk around with your kids. Okay. But you have to get to know your neighbors. You have to take your kids to your neighbor's house, see them, see you, see your kids seeing them, and give candy, right? And you just don't go to the houses with the jerk that doesn't give candy. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go home and you got to check the candy, because if you're a smart parent, you check your candy, make sure that it's good. There's nothing weird with that. That's just basic safety. And then you let the kids have the candy, and they had a wonderful time. You had a wonderful time. Everything's nice. Tailgate Halloween is like, okay, we're going to remove all of the concerns about weirdos could touch our kids that was never there, right? we're going to remove all the concerns that somebody put razor apples out there, which nobody ever did, right?
Nope.
Because the only time somebody actually tried to kill children with drugged candy was their own kids using tainted pixie sticks, and he got caught, right? And only like 2 children died because he was bad at it, right? Thank God, right? What we're going to do is we're going to gather up all the children. We're all going to get in a car. We're all going to drive over to the school, church, or other approved location. And then we're all going to stand here and we're all going to drink coffee and be dipshits while the children run from car to car unsupervised, grabbing handfuls of candy out of the back of a vehicle because that's safer.
Never let it be said that these things make sense. But this is the what you're seeing. You're seeing the back of the stage over here. I'll do it here. Over here, this is the back of the stage where you'll see like live music acts and stuff like that. This used to be a depot. So you would like, this is just the back of it right here. But over in this area to the extreme right, there was a place where you could go and sit, and that's still there. You could go and sit down and wait for your train, and this platform right here is where you would board. So these were passenger trains that ran through town. Now it's mostly freight trains.
I was saying, I'm assuming if you wait, you'll be waiting a good long time now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait times have increased significantly.
Yeah. And this is Spanish Revival architecture that's there, or Mission Revival. I'm sorry, Mission Revival architecture that you see, and that architecture pretty much is all around that town. Like most of the buildings, even the newer buildings, have this style of architecture, so it looks like a Spanish mission.
Yeah, it's Spanish and French influence, Brian.
So. But the name itself of this town, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might be Dutch, which is kind of strange. Like this town in its foundations has a really, really kind of strange mixture of people from different like ethnicities that founded it, and it's continued on that way. It's wild. Like I'll be honest with you, it has a lot of like this town has a lot of quirks. Like it really does. And the last time I was there, like all this white stuff you're seeing, that's tarp covering what Spanish tiles were suddenly thrown off of this thing because they're going to have to put those back up. But I was one of the first people to go in this area right here, which was the baggage room. And let me tell you, there are beams, literal beams, wooden beams that have the date scrawled on them. They're still original. Most of this building is still 100 years old. That's nuts. That is nutty. I mean, most of the other buildings in town, a lot of them were gutted from the last couple of hurricanes they had. It's crazy how beat up that town looked in certain areas. There are newer buildings there, but nothing has ever really lasted quite as long as this. So that's a little bit of history of where I'm from. And this particular place, I've been in it numerous times, but this time I actually went in the last day I was there. So I was leaving later that day. I had to catch my flight back. And I went in there and I saw stuff from when my dad worked in the railroad, from when my grandpa and my mom's side worked in the railroad. It was crazy, like, because I was around all this kind of memorabilia when I was a kid, but now it's like on display right in my face, and I'm like, oh, this is wild. So yeah, California has some similarity there because the Spanish, dude, it's Southwest Louisiana. The Spanish settled there too. Ghost trains. You know what? It's kind of weird. I as odd as it is, that is a railroad town, and I've never once heard of any ghost trains coming through. Doesn't mean there aren't reports of that. It's just we never heard of them. I do believe, yeah. Problem with the holiday issue is that those decisions are made by a small group of people. True, which the vast overwhelming majority of people do not want changed. No, all you millions of people are not allowed to celebrate what you want to anymore. I say fuck them. Fuck them. I'm not asking their permission, their consent, or their approval.
Well, they can't stop us from our small private gatherings at the sacrificial stone under the light of the full moon in the dark of the 13th hour, where we wear our funny robes and wave our sticks, because that's just a public gathering and anyone's welcome. Yes, children, come to our pagan gathering. We have candy.
Well, here's the thing that only kind of occurred to me later in adult life. For all the drugging of the candy that was out there, there was this big thing about, people are putting illegal drugs in candy. Okay, let's examine that for just a moment. Let's just say you put cocaine or heroin in a pixie stick. Okay, cocaine and heroin cost money to refine and produce and all that good stuff. Now, do you think, please make this make sense, that some guy out there, now remember, the people pushing cocaine and all that kind of other stuff, they're from cartels. So tell me what cartel or gang is going to just give away free product, especially to people who are so young that exposure to it could probably kill them. That makes zero sense. And I think it's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Again, a lot of this is built on fear and paranoia, not getting to know who's around you, not, trying to form some kind of relationship with barriers in place. The real and that's what it is. It's the desocialization there. People who want to desocialize and detach from each other are crying for socialism. Make that shit make sense. Fuck
that is my problem, actually. Again, I know 4 of my neighbors. Okay, I know the neighbors that live on either side of me, and though I don't talk to them, I'm very familiar with the Spanish family that lives across the street from me, right? And then down the way, around the corner where I used to live, I know my immediate neighbor, Cher, who has a great Halloween setup every year. And I know a couple of my neighbors in between. A couple of people I have spoken to and said, "Hi, how you doing?" And they all know that I'm the little crippled boy that lives alone in my mom's house. Right? But the thing is that I had to work, basically, as weird as that sounds, to get to know those people. By being outside and like finding a day and like, "Hi, how you doing? What's going on? Where you at?" Right? Because we don't talk to our neighbors anymore. Here you are living in a suburb in a very nice neighborhood, and nobody knows nobody, because anytime you're out on your yard, you look at your neighbor looks at you, and you like armed camp and just slither back into the shadows. And it's like, no, you need to communicate with each other, because like if there's a fire, you want your neighbor to be the one to tell you, "Hey man, there's a fire on your house." I think that things like Halloween and like giving out Christmas cookies and the like, those are all tools designed to create those interconnections between neighbors, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're trying to break up. I think they want everyone to live in isolation because you are easier to control that way.
Well, it's like I've said, we're constant for all the connectivity this stuff is supposed to provide. We've never been more disconnected in our lives.
Oh, it's actually funnier than that, Brian. I think my math is off. I think I know like 6 or 7 of my neighbors. I am a super friendly guy for somebody who doesn't get out a lot and who's not very friendly. Because I actually had a neighbor who was also a pot house, and they knew us pretty well because I used to take evening walks. I would enjoy the fact that it was summer and it was cool and I could actually go outside and not die, right? So they'd be on their porch smoking, and I'd be like, "Hi, guys," and it's like it's 6 o'clock at night, and they're like, "Hi." I'm like, How you guys doing? It's like, we're cool. How are you? It's like, oh, I'm good. I'm just walking. Because they're there. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
I'm not judging them because they smoking weed. It's their house. So, I got to know people. My folks used to visit me. They'd come down from their house to my house once a day if the weather was nice with mom and her small dog. So we got to know the neighbor who also had a small dog. And they were very friendly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I've always been like, look, I like my privacy. I want to be left alone, but I'm also very like community, not activist, but like community centric. It's like I should know my community. My community should know me. They should know that I'm not an asshole.
Well, I can tell you this much right now. So like, kind of getting back to tabletop RPGs, Chalt.
Oh yeah,
Schultz. This is like, I don't mind online play. That does not bother me. Obviously, I do it. I do it through Messenger, and we do Theater of the Mind. It works out. It's all good. But here's the problem. When Venture says that this game is the anti-WotC D&D, I firmly 100% get behind that, because it is meant. And I know he plays on Roll20 and stuff like that, and that's fine. That's how he wants to do it sometimes, and I get that. But here's my issue. My issue is that I really, I've got the physical materials. I got the wood here, and what I really want to do is play this in person. To me, I think the people who are like bucking online play exclusively, I never play online. Fine, whatever. Eliminate that option for yourself. It's cool. I don't mind. It's not going to hurt me. I think it's just stupid to take an option off the table. Same as those people. What are you, so degenerate that you can't find anyone to play with? You have to play solo. It's like, that's been a thing since the fucking 70s, dude. Fucking deal. I don't. If they think I'm that much of a degenerate that because I like to play solo, well then we're not really going to get along too well. So, but they all have one point that I think if they just chilled out a little bit, a lot more people would listen to them. These people who are sitting there going, hey, this is a social game. Okay, then why are you attempting to break up social groups? It doesn't make any sense. That's why I laugh at these people, because they're fucking stupid. Their points are fucking stupid. I can't get behind them because they make no goddamn sense. If you won't let your kids do Halloween, how do you expect them to play D&D? If you don't want people to gather for Thanksgiving or Christmas because it might offend someone of a different faith, guess what? You don't speak for me. I'm not offended. That's the time I can sit down with family and have fucking food, and I'm good with that. You don't want me to gather around for a celebration where gifts are exchanged and there's more fucking food. Tough shit. It's going to fucking happen anyway. I don't need your permission. You have no authority. Shut up. Sit the fuck down. Spend your time alone in your fucking apartment and go abuse your fucking fleshlight somewhere. I don't give a shit what you do. Do what you do.
It gets better because they're inconsistent, and that's the part that always agitates, right? Because remember, these are the same people who are like, it's okay to be neurodivergent, because they won't say crazy. Crazy has bad connotations. It's okay to be neurodivergent and have different problems, and you have to respect people who are on the spectrum. Okay, what if I'm antisocial? What if I have an antisocial disorder? What if I love D&D but I fucking hate people? Why can't you just let me play my D&D by myself?
Well, there was the there was the point in Clerks that was made. Julie Dwyer had just passed away. The wake of that day, Randall insists.
Wait a minute. I love that Brian is. Wait a minute. I love that Brian is falling out of his chair because he's like, "Don't just use the flashlight. Abuse the flashlight. just give it a couple of smacks before. Just give it a couple of smacks. It knows what it did."
Yeah. what do you say to a flashlight that has a big hole in it and nothing you haven't already said? But anyway, I guess I don't know. But anyway, the the absolute stupidity of this.
Yeah. So
And,
you're talking about
and,
Clerks.
yeah, the absolute stupidity of it is Dante's like, oh, I gotta go. I need you to watch the story. He's like, you go, I'm going. He's like, what? What? We can't just close the store to go to a funeral. He's like, you close the store to play hockey on the roof. And he's like, you hate people. And he goes, but I love gatherings. Isn't that ironic? It's like, that is, I don't know that that's something to just immediately celebrate. It's like, what does that say about Randall as a person now? Jeez. Well, I never really thought about how detestable that stance was until just now. And yeah, Josh is like, what did I stumble upon? Welcome to hell.
Jokes about Chult, fleshlights, and talking about when Kevin Smith could still produce quality content.
Oh, we're talking about drugs, Chalt, getting wood, X cards, and no, just to clarify, getting wood X cards, not getting wood, comma X cards. These are
not getting wood from X cards.
Yeah. What you stumbled into, you'll have to catch up on the replay.
No. I only mentioned Kevin Smith specifically because I have friends, and sometimes my friends really try to be involved. And I mean, some of them are gamers, but some of them are not. But they'll look for pop culture content and go like, "Hey Joe, look at this," and then they'll either be really gratified because I'm like enthusiastic, or they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring you something to hurt you." Or worse, you have friends like my bud Larry who will go out of his way to find things he knows will infuriate me because he finds it funny to listen to me go turn into Sam Kinison on podcast.
Yeah.
My friend Ty brought me a clip to the recent announcement of the next He-Man series in the Kevin Smith debacle, right? And she's like, Joe, yeah, and I'm like, no, thank you. And she's like, but it has Mark Hamill as Skeletor. I'm like, yes, and he's wasted. He's wasted in that role because they ruined it. They ruined the pooch. It's already destroyed. They already abused the fleshlight. There's nothing else I want to see from that. You want to see me watch He-Man? Get Kevin Smith as far away from it as possible. That's a starting place.
And furthermore, get that whoever advised him, get that dude the hell away from it. Because it's obvious he does not know the fucking lore. And if he knows it, he's flagrantly ignoring it.
Oh, man.
I could go on so many rants about that. I cannot believe that this still exists despite all the fan backlash. This still exists. And people have the nerve and the gall to bitch about the Rippaverse. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. By the way, I'm going to infuriate a lot of people right now who are going to be watching this later.
There we go.
I ordered Alpha Core #1 covers A and C.
Neat.
I pre-ordered it. Hey, Chuck Dixon's writing it. So I don't care. I loved his Breaking of the Bat story. I love his work.
Apparently his Conan book's not bad.
Hey, I have not checked those out yet. Maybe I should.
Damnedest Bastard did. Maybe we get Damnedest back here and have him talk about it.
I probably should find where those comics are available and order them. I do have something to bring up. I started going through I have a backlog of books on Comixology, and I started reading some of them. So I'm getting back into my John Constantine Hellblazer. I do have some Conan books in there. I don't know who wrote them, and I think they're probably pastiche. But you know what? Here's the thing. Robert E. Howard's Conan will always be my Conan. I mean, let's pull that fucking volume down right now. And I know what what DB said, but yeah, this is going to be my Conan right there. The one Robert E. Howard wrote. That's always going to be it. But to be fair, I do love Conan's stories, and I read the. I think they were probably the L. Sprague de Camp novels. I don't know. I read some. I read some novels when I was a kid, and they were pretty badass. I remember enjoying them, but I couldn't tell you which ones they were. But uh, if Dixon is writing Conan the Barbarian, maybe it's time I got on board with that one. Um, I can tell you this much: with the state of comics right now, Marvel and DC are pulling some serious Hail Mary moves. Tim Sheridan's little blurb did not go the way he expected because his Green Lantern is not selling. It's just not. And he wanted everybody to buy his book to own Comicsgate. And it's like, nah, bro. Probably about how many years ago did all this start? What about maybe 10 years ago?
What, the Comicsgate thing?
No, not Comicsgate. Comicsgate is relatively new.
It's not, but carry on.
But Comicsgate started about maybe 2-3 years ago.
No.
No?
That's what I'm saying. What are you asking? How old is what?
How like when they started doing all this shit to the characters, like making Bobby Drake closeted gay.
Okay, so for those of us who have been digging into this, the trends have been there a very long time, and I would be of the mind to argue that they started laying the groundwork in the 90s because they had to wait for the 90s era kids to achieve adulthood to start messing things up. Okay, but the crystallization, when it finally seems to have taken full form and gone active, based on rough estimates, because none of us is an actual historian, no one's looking into this, is somewhere around 2014 to 2016. That's when this got rolling, and Comicsgate probably got its incipient feet about a year later. Because it was going, but it had not had the massive successes yet. At that point, it was just a bunch of angry guys on the internet going, "What the fuck?" Much like we are right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't quote unquote organized. If I was to put a name, if I was to put a subject to it, I would actually say. And mind you, I'm going to go back older than 2014. Okay. I would say it either started with Marvel Civil War, which is 2006. Okay. Or Spider-Man One More Day, which was 2007. Why those specific events? Is it because I'm a Marveloid? No. It's because we're talking about the effect of trends on the media at large, right? Civil War is when we started the major push for hero versus hero rather than hero versus villain, and everything is gray and black morality, right? And I don't mean black morality like 90s Edge. 90s Edge was still good guys and bad guys, but it was edgy. I'm talking about heroes actually making bad decisions and then actually not giving a shit. Right? And if it's not that, then it's One More Day, because One More Day was a political decision by a given editor to end a plot line that he didn't like, because he personally did not like it, because Joey Q was going through a messy divorce and decided that if he couldn't be married, then Spider-Man couldn't be married. Yeah, it's that kind of dumb. You could also argue, if you want to be hot topic and you want to really make people mad, give me a second. We could also argue that this started to take its form in 2011. More accurately, whenever the Ultimates line of comics started for Marvel. Because Ultimates was, we're going to redo Marvel Comics, but better than the old man in our own imprint with hookers and blackjack, which ultimately failed. And 2011 is when they introduced Miles Morales, which was, we're going to do a better Spider-Man, a blacker Spider-Man, an Obama Spider-Man, a Tiger Woods Spider-Man. Because all of those things are things you think of when you think of a Spider-Man adventure book with action and adventure. I could see your brain turning to slime and running at your ears there, Raven, as you contemplate the depth of this evil.
Oh, I'm not contemplating the death of it, or the depths of it, rather. I'll tell you. I'll tell you where.
You're just imagining taking a fleshlight and beating someone to death with it.
Well, at least the casing. You know what? I've got Brooke right here. Can we just reenact that scene from Walking Dead? You know, where Negan pops up the RV and. Or are we shitting our pants yet? Yeah, you're gonna be.
The thing is, there's a woman on the internet. Her name is Valerie Diorzo, and she's a comics insider who got pushed out because she had this problem. She was a woman in comics, and people in industry wanted her to make woman in comics books, and she was like, "Can I just make good books? Can I just do cool comics? Because I love comics, right?" She was a woman. And she was in comics, and she dared not to play to the standards of woman in comics, right? So they pushed her out, but she has not been quiet about it, okay?
Yeah.
And what it seems to be is that comics as an industry has always been insular. It's always been somewhat nepotistic. It's always been a little bit like a mafia. And what we are actually experiencing is a generational transition, because the oldsters who were keeping things even keel and were responsible for making good books, but were not better than what we're dealing with, are out, whether because they have literally died or they are retiring, right? And the new generation is coming in, and they're not experienced. They're not receiving guidance, and what's worse, they are being fed bad information by people with pet theories and pet approaches. So they're making literal bad books and then getting rewarded for it by companies that are basically on life support. Marvel is a zombie, ladies and gentlemen. DC is a zombie. These companies no longer exist in a practical sense. They're just atrophied limbs of a bigger fish, and the people making them don't know what they're doing, and it's spreading to all the media fronts in all the ways.
Yeah, and still, like we're, you know, this is what I don't get. Here's all I want. You know, let's go back to the 90s a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So I really got underway with my comic books probably about when New Mutants issue, I think 89. Let me look that up again. Mutants. I think this is the one. No, that was apparently that. I don't think that was it. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. It was 89. And I'll try to just get the image up on the screen. Oh, wait. No, it wasn't. Well, which one was it? Oh, it was 91. Sorry. So I'll pull this up on the screen. This is where I really got underway. Like, this was the first comic book that I remember buying and reading. Oop, not that. Present, share screen. Here we go again. This was it. This was my introduction. And I absolutely loved this story. I was coming in at the end of this story.
Right.
And you got Sabretooth and Caliban fighting in the Morlock tunnels. Richter is unable to escape because of his wounds. Sabretooth does have the upper hand when he crashes a huge block of concrete on Caliban's head, but Richter ruins Sabretooth's next attack by using his own powers against the Marauder, and it gives Caliban enough time to recover and spar with Sabretooth again instead of letting him kill Richter. So Cable's down there to fight, to get Richter out of there because he's all beat up. And it gets nasty. And then after that, I find a friend of mine lets me borrow the New Warriors annual #1, where they're literally going up against X-Force. And when I'm looking at X-Force, I see a lot of very familiar faces. And I realize where X-Force comes from. I did not get the rest of the issues after this. Like, they just weren't accessible to me. Again, small town, you would not believe. I took what I could get. So if it was just a few D&D books, a couple of box modules, a couple books of Vampire the Masquerade, some Wraith of the Oblivion, stuff like that, I took whatever I could get my hands on.
Right.
Because that was something that wasn't really afforded to me at that time. And even foreign music acts like Rammstein had to come through movie soundtracks like the one for Lost Highway. And then they hit in MTV. And, you know, when I finally got exposed to a lot of the stuff, you know, I was deep into it with this because I loved Rob Liefeld's art. I didn't care about all the stuff that the complaints that people leveled at him or whatever. It just
you mean like you can't draw feet?
Can't draw feet, can't draw hands, can't do this, can't do that. I don't give a shit. The fucking stories he wrote were fucking awesome. They were action-packed. They were amazing. And they didn't really have a lot of these heavy overtones. They weren't preaching. They weren't doing any of that shit. They were just the story. And then you could make your decision from there. Same with Star Trek TNG. It just presented some moral dilemmas. And sometimes those episodes did not end the way you would want them to, but it left the discussion up to the people who were watching it and consuming that content to have that discussion.
Here's a crystallization of the problem, because it's not a problem about content. I'm even going to make the controversial opinion that some of the social issues that they want to address through a comic movie are not badly chosen. Okay?
To answer this question, yes, I loved his art. I loved his stories. I still do. No apologies.
Here's the thing. So, Infinity Gauntlet, which was the synthesis for Infinity War and Endgame, was written in 1991.
Yeah, I remember it.
By Starlin. Okay. That's a great book. The thing is, that was a great book for decades. Everyone agreed that was a great book. Right? That was an epic. Okay. We're all down on that. So they're planning now to do Secret Wars. Which Secret Wars do you think they're planning to do?
Probably the current year.
Yeah, they're gonna do they're gonna do the Hickman 2015.
Well, let me say this before we go on.
Okay.
I did read the 1980s Secret Wars comics.
Yep.
Oh, I'll be honest. I get it. I do.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I understand where people in the 80s might have been amazed by this, especially if you're a kid reading this in the 80s. That shit's amazing. Especially Spider-Man got his symbiote suit. Yep. Oh, didn't see that coming. Oh, wow, he's got this really cool new black suit. He's more ninja-like now. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna say it was that I don't get it, but I'm looking at it because I didn't get to read it till I was an adult.
Right.
And I did not enjoy it. And I'll tell you why, because
fine.
The overall concept to me was corny as balls.
Oh,
but I'm going to say this. I understand there were several factors at play. Number one, the Comics Code Authority, which had no authority, still lording over newsstands and anybody with a comic spinner rack.
Yep.
This was mostly geared toward children, so it had to have just these kind of weird, kooky little things. I understand that.
Hey, Betty.
Reading it as an adult, I was like, Beyonder just kind of randomly grabbing superheroes and throwing them into an arena of whatever. It just sounded kind of corny to me.
Here's the thing, though.
Hey!
Because in the first, the original Secret Wars, is better than the 2015 Secret Wars. Okay, and I know I have friends who will stab me for that. I'm gonna get stabbed this Sunday for that.
Probably.
Because I did not speak well of Hickman. It's like, no, Secret Wars 2015 is garbage. Secret Wars 1984 is a classic. But here's the thing. It's not just a classic on its own. Because, yeah, by and large, it was a toy commercial and it was a pretty terrible book.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, sure, Spidey got the symbiote. Everyone remembers that.
Yep.
But what people don't remember is that after Secret Wars, Ben Grimm stayed on the War World. Because he was human there, and he wanted to be human.
Yeah.
And for a hot minute, Ben Grimm was a main run on Marvel because people were buying the Thing book because they enjoyed the storyline for Ben Grimm. So it spawned a bunch of side content that was great.
Right.
Afterward,
yeah.
Right?
Like, to me, that is fine. I'm not against anyone liking it.
Right.
I just didn't enjoy it myself because I'm reading it as an adult now.
But then there's another element.
Like, I understand, like I said, I totally get that. I understand it spawned some new stuff that they took advantage of and made it really awesome. That to me is perfectly fine. This is why I say when people are talking about quality issues in the story of like ISOM 1 and 2, I don't fucking get it because it's like, dude, these are just in their first 2 fucking issues. They're not releasing how many pages do these comics run these days? Like what, 30, 40 pages at the
20
most?
20 is industry.
Okay. So 20 pages plus your ads, whatever. And then those are single issues released on the spinner racks for like $2-3 these days. I mean, you saw that number 91 was $1 back in the day. And that, I remember when $2.50 would get you this really cool edition cover or a number 1 or something. And now, that didn't even happen. And I'm going to be straight up with you, Brian. Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of the what ifs. Those were so fucking fun to read. But to me, that the fact that they weren't canon, they were just kind of like one shot, what if, I thought that was cool as fuck. They did not need to spawn a multiverse to make it happen.
Well, no, the multiverse has been around much longer than that, but that's
probably there. So. I wouldn't doubt it.
No, the big problem with modern Marvel, especially through the MCU, is the misuse of a concept because they abuse the multiverse rather than use it properly.
So does Wizards of the Coast with D&D.
Because D&D is not a multiverse, never was. Sorry, guys.
No, it never was, but they're bound and determined to make it one.
Oh, they're trying.
They're trying.
Have you seen the art for Planescape? Have you seen the Planescape art, Raven? Have you seen Body Positivity Monster? So, here's the thing, though. There is one other facet to the Secret Wars conversation that people are overlooking that I think is very pertinent. We already saw a live version of the 84 Secret Wars. Not a live action version. There was an animated version. Because in the 94 to 98 Spider-Man animated series, they did Secret Wars.
Okay, that I'll be honest with you, I actually did not watch that. I understand like it's really loved. I was more of an X-Men guy, so I
watched both.
I skipped out on a lot of Spider-Man. But my mainstays were X-Men and Batman the animated series. That was where I kind of drew.
See, this is a perfect example, though. The last episodes of X-Men 92, skipping the Jubilee storybook episode, was basically Mutant Empire. It was an animated kids level version of the book Mutant Empire, which is Magneto tries to take over New York using Sentinels and magnetism, right? With a popular revolt of mutancy. It's a pretty good book. It's a pretty good story, right? They tried to do it in film. That's called X-Men: The Last Stand. X-Men: The Last Stand was rancid ass. Why was it rancid ass? Because rather than do the groundwork that needs to be done, they tried to rush. We're going to have the army, and we're going to have mutants, and we're going to have Magneto, and we're going to have New York, and he's going to do that thing with the bridge, and we're going to have the legacy virus, and we're going to have the mutant cure, and we're going to have all the Dark Phoenix, and it doesn't work.
No, and here's the thing. I'm going to, again, no apologies. I still enjoy X-Men: The Last Stand just for what it was. I do not consider this the Dark Phoenix storyline. I don't even consider X-Men Dark Phoenix to be the Dark Phoenix storyline.
It's not. If your
That
Phoenix
needs a build
storyline,
up.
if your Phoenix storyline doesn't have the Shi'ar Empire and the Starjammers, you're not doing it right.
And here's the thing. Marvel Studios, Disney, whatever. If you're going to do a Dark Phoenix storyline, it has to have a build up. It's that simple. That's going to have to be, you're going to have an X-Men TV series, and it's going to take time to build that fucking story up and in order to do it right.
Yeah, but here's what I'm getting at. It's not just that you have to do it with fidelity to the content, which is important, right? But you also have to choose the right content. Nobody's singing the praises of 2015 Secret Wars. Nobody gives a shit about Hickman. A lot of the work that has come out between 2000 and 2023 has either been middling or functionally unimpressive. Okay? And I'm going to use an example that we do know about. You and I both read Onslaught, I'm sure, because we're X people. We read it.
I did not get to read the entire thing. I got to read the synopsis.
Right, but you know of it.
I know of it, yeah.
Right? We're not going to say that's a bad story.
No.
But here's the thing. Nobody read Heroes Reborn.
True.
Which was the next event, which was Franklin Richards made a pocket reality where his parents didn't die.
Yeah.
Which, again, might be a good story. But the thing is that if you said, okay, guys, we killed off all the Avengers. Now we're going to do another movie. What are we going to do? We're going to do Heroes Reborn. That's not going to work. Because the source material ain't great. You've got 50 years of Marvel to pull from, and your choice is to pull from the last 20? Are you mad? Are you retarded? You take the old stories from the 70s, give them a modern paint job if you must, and you ride that pony to victory, because those stories were well made. They had to be to make up for the limitations of the technology.
True. But here's the thing that I want to point out. With the Onslaught series, I'm fairly certain, but I'm not entirely sure. And if anyone wants to check this for me, go right ahead, because I'll have to I'm not going to zoom over for this. With the Onslaught thing, I'm not going to lie. What bit of it I got to read in the synopsis, the immediate thing that popped into my brain when I read it was, this is the Extreme Sacrifice storyline. And the Extreme Sacrifice storyline, for those of you who don't know, was a big dust-up in Image Comics among the titles because Rob Liefeld was leaving. And I'm not sure what he was thinking. I'm not sure what all the behind-the-scenes things were that were going on. But Liefeld was leaving. I think it had to do with he and McFarlane just weren't getting along or
Probably
whatever. But like this character named Crypt comes in and starts killing many of the heroes. Youngblood, which is it's a team of government operatives, suddenly gets this dude named Graves popping up, and he kind of starts directing them. Also, Chapel, who had committed suicide, pops up, and now he has usurped the throne of hell. So now, instead of being he wanted to become a hellspawn, and whoever greeted him in hell was like, "Why do you want to be an underling? What sense does that make? That makes sense." So he literally took the throne of hell. And so now he's the devil himself. He is wreaking havoc and destruction. So is Crypt. And it turns out the big reveal to that, after all these heroes had just been decimated to death, and there were so very few left, that Rob could finally make his exit with Youngblood, with Brigade, with whatever. It turns out that Crypt was Prophet the whole time. It kind of looked like that 90s era WWE where they revealed the higher power to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and there's Vince McMahon. It was me the whole time, Austin. I'm like,
it was me, Barry.
It was
me.
When I saw it, I was like, what? Like it genuinely surprised me. And then with the Onslaught storyline, we had a similar story, but it was Professor X who was Onslaught. And I was like, oh, why did you do that? Plus, what Marvel did to Gambit, I'll never forgive them for that. Ever.
Here's the thing. Here's this about that very briefly. I don't mind the reveal that he was the broker for the mutant massacre. That's interesting. Right?
It is interesting.
But-
I'm just saying it looked like a ripoff of that storyline. I
Right.
was like,
And I don't mind the subsequent book, Gambit and Bishop, where Gambit and Bishop are basically going on bro adventures as X people apart from the X-Men. My problem is they took, because yet again, Marvel apparently has this problem with people having gainful relationships. They took the Rogue Gambit relationship, set it on fire, and threw it in a dumpster. And it's like, but why though? It's like, well, he spent years lying to me. It's like, Rogue, you started as a villain in the Secret Wars. Fuck you. Either way, as we near the third hour here, and probably the wrap up time, anyone who's confused, just consider comics and tabletop role playing games are cousins in the nerdarchy. We are closely related because comics nerds play role playing games. Role playing games, I've got play comic books. We will debate comic books and role playing games forever. Preferably while listening to heavy metal. I don't know what Raven's doing. I think he's typing busily. Let's watch.
just letting someone know that they're right. They're like, how many kids have died from school shootings over the last few years? Well, how many have I been a part of? 0. How many more have been scarred for life because of them? Okay, how many was I responsible for? 0. And you just don't care. Correct. Collateral damage, as long as you can keep your guns. You're right. Empathy just doesn't exist anymore. You're absolutely right. So feel free to unfollow me, dude. It's fine. He's still following me. Jesus Christ, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
It's like
I have as many guns as I do books. Boy, don't I wish.
Oh no, I actually am still just, my head is spinning from the subhuman that I encountered. So there's a guy, he and I had some conversations, and I had left him unblocked because I don't generally block people, right? And he had some hot takes, and people are allowed to have their shitty opinions. I can't stop them, right? So T-Shirt, our friend over at T-Shirted Historian, he did a post for the funny, the 80s Kid Trauma Starter Pack. Did you see that post?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so it's got Artex and Artreu from Neverending Story. It's got the shoe from Roger Rabbit. It's got E.T. and Elliot from the hospital scene in E.T. It's got the scary trucker lady from Pee-wee. I don't know what this purple thing is in the lower left-hand corner, but then it has Optimus Prime dying, and it has Littlefoot and his mom from Land Before Time. So this is designed to hit you right in the feels if you're an 80s kid. And I said, and yet no one makes jokes about Dumbo's mom because that shit will kill you. Okay? Because we've all seen Dumbo's mom. That's fucking tragic. Right?
Yep.
In comes this guy, and he says, parents die. Get over it. I'm way more bothered by the opening song from that movie. And he said this to me, who, I'm still dealing with the fact that my mom died a year ago, about this time, and my father died 2 years before that. And he's like, parents die, get over it. And yet this motherfucker has a post on his Twitter feed where he's trying to handle the fact that his old man has passed on. And it's like, you motherfucker, you are subhuman trash. You are the pond scum on a septic tank of humanity. I hope you die in a tire fire, because he's all well and good to put himself on the high horse and judge you for a lack of empathy. All right, but they don't extend you the same fucking common courtesy. And I'm like, fuck that. You have empathy for everyone, or you have empathy for nobody.
Yeah, well, right now I'm watching this. I'm watching this go absolutely apeshit. It's a back and forth, and it's turning into a flame war here. And I'm like,
And yes, Brian, it was DB.
yeah, it like there was much more than what T-shirt had pictured there. But the fact of the matter is, like my little niece got shown the never ending story by my sister, and the funniest part about that is she got so pissed off at the end, she won't even touch the sequels. She won't rewatch that movie, and I'm like,
I mean, the sequels are ass. What was wrong with the end of Neverending Story?
the thing that was wrong was, number one, it covered only the first half of the book.
Okay.
Now, okay, the second movie kind of picks up the second half of the book, but only in elements. It doesn't stay like, okay, the first movie stayed faithful to the source material. It stayed actually faithful to the first half of this book, with a few exceptions. Number one, Falcor's head is more like a lion than it is a dog, and the way Atreyu comes across Falcor is far different. And some things had to kind of be cut for time, so I get for that. I get that. But when you read I mean, look at this. Believe it or not, this is super cheap. I own it in multiple formats. If I own a book in multiple formats, you best believe I love that book. This one is one of my favorites because you know me, I'm a sucker for folklore and fairy tales. I love that kind of thing. And this provides like a central hub to it. It's also great for RPG inspiration. If this wasn't in Appendix N, I think it probably should be in at least a few appendices.
Does this mean I should be concerned that I own 2 copies of The King in Yellow?
Really?
Yeah.
Good. Wow.
I thought I had lost my previous copy, so I bought it, and then like the day after I bought it and it had arrived and it was at my house, I found the other one. I'm like, oh,
well,
I have seen the yellow sign, and the yellow sign commanded that I should have 2 of this.
Yeah. And this is going on right now.
Yeah.
I think the guy who is like, he's just going off right now, and I've already warned him. Cool it. No more. In fact, it's a warning to everybody. No more name calling. If you can't make your fucking point without it, consider it fucking done. I'm shutting it down. I'm done with this shit. And but anyway, long story short here, the sequel, the first sequel, the next chapter was okay. It covered sort of the main theme, the overall theme of the second half of the book, but the execution was just poor. It didn't really stay as faithful to the second half as it could have, which the second half of the book is so much more interesting than the second movie. So
I mean, the inconsistency of the flavor of the Neverending Story films is similar to the inconsistency of the Oz films. Because Return to Oz is great, but Return to Oz is like weird and not very Oz-like in any way, shape, or form. And I'm gonna bring up something awful, and I apologize. You know they're doing Willy Wonka again.
I'll be honest with you, I don't care.
I only mention it because not only has it not been particularly long since the last time they did, and of course this time it's a single name character led, so it's not Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. It's Wonka, because that's logical. But then the crux of it is that it's not going to be the book. It's not going to be the book with all the bells and whistles and warts. It's going to be some curated, altered for modern audiences trite that we know it's going to be, because they really want to turn it into a magical children's book and not a frankly horrific indictment of robber barony and the chocolate industry.
Right.
It's like I will never watch the most recent Jungle Book because I'll just read the Jungle Book.
Well, this guy is. Wow. I'm sorry. I was kind of like blown away. Return to Oz by Brian.
Why?
Brian, dude.
Why?
Brian, we can make that happen. We can make that happen. You know why? God. Because all you got to do is use Crimson Dragon Slayer D20.
Which
there's a 5th edition Oz supplement that I do have. I can even do it with Neverland.
I don't know if there's a body horror card, but if there isn't, then he has just stimulated the Eldritch horror card.
Yeah, I would say that would definitely be the Eldritch card. Yep, right there, bang, just stimulated that. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain as he's doing something very nasty.
Well, no, I'm just imagining the dudes on the wheels, and it's some kind of instead of just being wheel suits, it's now some kind of body parasite symbiosis, where the wheels and the whatnot are an intrinsic part of their bodies as they're just zooming around.
Well, here's the thing. First thing, before I would even make that happen, I would actually have to go and I would rather read Frank Baum's Oz.
Yeah.
I really want to read his books first. That way I can because I'll be honest with you, I've only ever seen the movie and I've seen Return to Oz. That I thought it was kind of cool when I saw it.
I mean, the Dwarf King is amazing and scary.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, so I don't really remember much of it except that Fairuza Balk was in it as a very young girl.
Yeah.
So I have that supplement. I have kind of been through it. It seems a little weird to me. And it's probably because I don't really know the source material for it yet. I would actually have to get into the source material, and I've heard so much from a friend of mine who's read that material and has told me so much about it, but she's not giving me much because she doesn't want to spoil it for me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I actually did pick up. I used one of my Audible credits to get the entire Oz series. So I'll have to listen to that. Right now, I'm listening to Bram Stoker's Dracula, the new Dragonlance novel, and the Barsoom series. Imagine my fucking day here.
How chult can you get if you're listening to Barsoom?
I mean, it does take inspiration from Barsoom.
Oh, yeah.
There are some Barsoomian elements there. Build characters comparable to the Lion, Tin Man, and Scarecrow. Yep. A mock, a banana man, and a human. Oh, yeah, that's good. That is good.
Is that like a mock from Thundar the Barbarian?
Probably.
Does this mean that I would just have to play the entire game going?
Probably. And you would actually have to write your own subtitles and post those.
Oh yeah.
Because this is not going to be like Chewbacca, where I just instantly understand what your is. Yes. So yes, a mock from Thundar the Barbarian, and that would be one of those things that really kind of takes you into the game itself. Is just how screwed up we could just make that. Oh, Daniel Fox would be turning in his grave. The friggin' guy isn't even dead yet.
Why? Because people are having fun in the wrong way?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he did, to be fair, he worked on those books. I don't know how much of a contribution he made. I only found out after I got the books. Andrew Kolb, I have never interacted with him, so I don't know much about him. I do know that Neverland and Oz are great if you like that kind of thing and you want to integrate that into your 5th edition game. I have absolutely no problem with it. I say, they're worth it. I would go into it before Andrews McNeil, I think it was, the publishing house, shuts down that portion of their business, because they are shutting down that portion of their business last I heard. So
Damn
don't
it,
know.
Brian! Now I have the Thunder the Barbarian theme stuck in my head. Dun, 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 dun,
And you know what? I mean, you could even do probably the same thing by the way of Dystopian Dawn if you wanted to. Dystopian Dawn, in my opinion, is a little. How can I put this? When I put it next to Mutant Crawl Classics as like a Gamma World type of clone, it I think Dystopian Dawn does it in a manner that's a little less cartoonish and a little more serious.
I mean, I'm not criticizing. I agree, but that is my major problem actually with post Fallout inspired post-apocalypse. Certainly, I love me my Mad Max, and I love Fallout. Fallout has a wonderful place in my heart, but I really long for a grounded apocalypse with the over-the-top personality of Metamorphosis Alpha and Gamma World, where it's like the apocalypse is normal, but everything else is fucky.
That would probably be Mutants. Dystopian Dawn, I think, plays it pretty straight. Mutant Crawl Classics is probably going to be your sweet spot, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, for anyone who wants to pick that up and play it, I won't stand in your way. I have the books. I'm happy with what I got. I won't be buying any more from Goodman Games because of their very public stance and what they've done to Cave. But speak of the devil, a note from Tony here, whom we've had on the show, great guy. First print is in. So the test print arrived. He's reviewing the interior, might make a few adjustments to the page frames. Overall, thicker paper, glossy cover looks nicer than the previous books. Still on track to publish way ahead of schedule. Sidebar, for those who order GM screens, they are on order due to the end of the month, so they should ship with this order.
Okay,
Very
Tony,
cool.
I have a suggestion for your book. Instead of paper, wood.
That is going to be a very cumbersome book to ship. It's just, I don't know. Like, I personally, I like if you want that over the top of Metamorphosis Alpha and stuff like that, Mutant Crawl Classics works. It works. It's good. I like it. I've championed MCC and ECC before, but
I'm just saying that in terms of the personality of some of these games that are inspired by games of old, I really wish they could get the flavor of the old. So when I crack a mutant post-apocalyptic fantasy sci-fi setting, I want to be like, okay, guys, you wake up in the cryotubes and you're in an abandoned Ferris wheel assembly, and it's like, okay, and what's going on? It's like, well, if you've ever seen Westworld, a very old, very insane Yul Brynner is now after you.
Well, I mean, there's also Wretched Apocalypse. That one works too.
Yes.
But if you've got the Wretched RPG, you can just use that and make your own. Yeah. Or you can wait for the updated version, which will be a setting which will be coming along at some point. Rexploitation is also coming at some point. I don't know when. I know they've been working up Red Room. Holy crap! I'm so way behind. Like it's not even funny.
Hey,
but,
you get some Rexploitation in your Wretched RPG. You do post-apocalyptic. You can do Black Dynamite.
You could, yeah. You could. In fact, you could do Black Dynamite. You could do Shaft. You could do Blackula.
I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking of Black Dynamite. I was thinking of Afro Samurai.
Oh, Afro Samurai. Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
you could.
Then you too can be the ninja in charge.
Yep. Yeah. I don't think he was a ninja though. He was definitely samurai by the way he acted.
No, I was referring to a specific.
I know what you're referring to. I know. As a matter of fact, I want to play. I I want to play this video because when we were talking about weed earlier, this one, I think you're gonna laugh. But
okay, so this is how we're gonna wrap today. Is I'm gonna watch this video and react
we're
to
gonna
it.
yeah we're gonna play this and wrap because I played it earlier, but I think it bears repeating.
Okay,
it's so good. Here we go. I'm going to kill my mic.
Which card are we simulating with this?
Fuck, I don't know.
Pop culture, maybe.
Pop culture, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna mute, and we could get a laugh together, and then I'll close out after this. So here we go. Ready?
I fucked up the other day, and I didn't read the label before I decided to put something in my mouth. And I'm going to tell you why. I had a company here lately reach out to me because they found out that I enjoy to dabble in the edible department, gummies mainly. Now, when I said notice I said dabble. I didn't say that I'm a fucking professional or any kind of shit like that. Okay, so anyways, regardless, they asked me for my address. They sent me a whole plethora of items, which was very nice of them. So I decided to partake. One of these items that they sent me is called a nerd rope. Now, if you don't know what a nerd rope is, like myself, I'm going to tell you what it is. A nerd rope is a gummy that's got little bitty pieces of nerd candy attached to it. Now, a little something that you don't know about me, I fucking love nerds. It's one of my favorite candies ever. So instantly right off the bat, I was like, I'm going to fuck that nerd rope up. It was sitting on my counter. I had a little piece of paper over it. And when I read it, it said 50 milligrams. Now, when this company sent me all these products, they said, hey, be sure to cut everything in half. Make sure, because our stuff's a little strong. I was like, all right, no big deal. 50 milligrams, cut it in half, 25 milligrams. I got this. Boy, did I fuck up. The little piece of paper that was covering the package was hiding a 0. Wasn't 50 milligrams, it was 500 milligrams. And I cut that bitch in half and threw it right down the gullet. Ingested 250 fucking milligrams. Did you know that you can have an anxiety attack and diarrhea at the same time? These are naturally preserved whole lemons, pickled lemons. I ordered like what I can tell, like 8 or 9 jars and ate 7 of them. I don't even remember how they taste. I got so high that I remember watching the cottage cheese and mustard lady on TikTok, and I was like, I can make whatever that dip she's making. So I got this big ass bowl of mystery dip on my counter, and I don't even know what the fuck's in it. You think I'm lying? I am not. Also decided to take purple spray paint and count all the hay bales out in my field and label them. Here, check this out. Just in case you are wondering, there's 15 total hay bales out of my field. Yeah, buddy. Also ordered a Google Nest thermostat for my house and discovered one thing. I am not qualified to do HVAC repair. I annihilated. And when I mean annihilated, I annihilated 3.5 cases of my daughter's Capri Sun. She's 4, and then had a 45-minute discussion with her on why Elsa is not a good candidate for president. Just for the record, I regret nothing about the Capri Suns. Have a good day.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Jesus. Oh, my God. Woo. Dang.
My favorite part of that is
Oh.
the 45-minute conversation about why Elsa would not be a good president. not because he was that high.
Oh my
but
God.
Because I suspect I would get into that conversation naturally. If I had a small daughter and she'd be like, I want Elsa for president, I'd be like, oh, welcome to my TED Talk. Let me tell you why that's a bad idea. And she'd be like, Dad, I just want to have fun. And I'd be like, this is fun. Are you blind?
This is one of those things, like, I've seen people have like Owen Wilson moments when they're high. They're like, oh wow, man, that is amazing. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm like,
okay.
Hey, you see that every day.
Okay, so
how did that just amaze you now?
So here's the thing. As you know, I got me a job. And while I'm working from home, I'm still telecommuting. It's still work. So we have a wide-ranging international group of people we work with. One of whom is from Romania, and I very quickly pulled off the Band-Aid, and I was like, "Look, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of Romanian stuff because I'm a Romanian nerd because I'm a vampire fan, and I'm sure you hear that shit all the time because idiots know about Dracula and nothing else. So like we have had conversations about the Bosrab monarchy and the dynasty and the medievalism. And it's very interesting because it's like, oh wow, Joe knows enough to be interesting, but they still know more than me, right? And we've also talked about what is it like to live in Romania? What is it like to live close enough to hear what's going on in Ukraine and not be there, right? And the general notion that we've come to is basically in Romania, everyone are goblins because thievery is rampant and innate, and everyone does things for fucking laughs. It's fun. They're not quite Gupniks, but it's pretty good. So when this person and I get in a mood, we will both become goblins, and we will drive the boss nuts. It's like, what are you guys doing? We're playing with Legos. Why? It's like, because we're building levels. Go away! Right? Just the most ridiculous shit. We'll get off on tangents that make no sense except to us because we're being goblins. You know, that is what happens to me when I am exposed to cannabis and get a contact high. Is I turn into a goblin, and I start talking real fast, and I do not mellow out. I'm like, hey guys, do you want to see something? Do you want to see that? I've been working on this all night. It's gonna be great. I want to see what we're gonna.
Well, that's a new wrinkle.
Yeah, I think the internet is telling you it's time to stop.
Yeah, you're breaking up like Superman, dude.
You've gone digital and your camera's dead. So, Patty, are you gonna have a podcast tonight? Are you gonna share the world with us? Man, Wolfgar is gone. Consumed by the void. Seized by Chult. Oh, and now it's just me.
There we go.
You poor victims.
Okay. Something happened, dude. All you did was just move. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And
well, I was talking about how getting a contact high turns me into a goblin, but apparently I was able to, express it directly. So now you know.
Right. But anyway, that was interesting. A nice little internet glitch there. But anyway,
I argue you got pulled into Chult. You've been chulted.
I did not. I was here the entire time watching my screen helplessly.
I mean, maybe Chult was trying to grab you.
Probably. Who knows?
Did your screen turn to jam and start trying to
did not.
leak out of the? Were you going ludicrous speed? Did you go to plaid?
I did not. I was seated right here the
ludicrous
entire
speed.
fucking time. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
That's actually the dumbest thing I learned from Larry. My friend Larry subjected himself to the Marvels, and part of the plot for that is literally someone stole the oxygen from a planet, Spaceballs style. And it's like, really? Fucking really? We gotta get out of here, man, before we get depressed.
This is why I'm like, anyone who wants to bring up complaints about me reading shit from the Rippaverse, I don't care, because shit like this is being peddled out to people, and people are paying to go to the theaters to see this.
Oh, my consistent commentary when these kinds of conversations come up is that I'm not angry that it exists. I'm angry that someone got paid for it that wasn't me, because I can write better. I can write better and deserve their money.
You know what? Closing out, I just want to say I hope Venger's right about one thing. I heard that he thinks that this whole thing's going to peter out by 2025. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to want it, and it will pass along, and all you will hear is the wailing and gnashing of teeth of these little banshees, and eventually it's just going to die.
Like a gallstone.
That's it. and I hope he's right. I think uh, yeah, even though I tend to think like there's better ahead right now. I really do. I believe it wholeheartedly. I think there's much better times ahead. I think there's much better stuff ahead, and we have all these little things that we can count on that were successful when everybody else said it shouldn't be. So I think we can hold on to that, and I think if we support that or we do our own and it gets supported, I think it will work. Eventually, these a lot of these big companies are probably, I'm not going to lie, a lot of them are probably going to go away, but you're going to see smaller businesses pop up, and the smaller businesses are going to start the cycle again. However, I tend to think that within a few generations, you're going to see people going, yeah, you know what? We learned from watching those people fail because of the very thing you're pointing out. We watched those people fail and fail miserably. So, oh,
Oh
that's
man,
that's right, Patty. Oh crap, I completely forgot about that one shot. Like I didn't sign up for it. I do have some things to do tonight, so I
yeah,
really couldn't. But I completely forgot that was going to be a thing. But are you playing that one shot tonight?
I am not.
Okay. I was gonna say, well, whoever's playing it,
As
have fun because that game again, Horde Wars, $5. It's a download. Go get it. It's awesome. Go get Chalt X cards. It's a
no,
download.
no. My thing is, I generally try not to sign up for multiples of the same game, whatever the system is in a given time span. So it's like, no, I jumped on board for the recurring. You you get Yagnosh forever now until he die
Right on.
because Ragag Magag.
Right. But anyway, yeah, I think for all the doom and gloom that's been out there, and I'll make this a link as well. I do have an article on my Substack. I know it's been a while since I created video content for some of you. Again, I apologize. Real life just intruded in the rudest possible way, and that's not looking to subside really anytime soon. I will try to get video content out as I can. There probably won't be any this week because I do have to run someone to an eye surgery, which I do not want to be in the room for. And then on top of that, I've got, grocery shopping and errands and stuff like that to take care of. And that's literally going to take up my 2 days in a row off. So, it is what it is. But grab Horde Wars, grab this Chalt X card thing. I think you're going to love it, especially if you're a Chalt player. Just like grab all the free things. There's so many free things. Why are you not grabbing all the things?
As a last thought on our way out here, because we are trying to get out the door, I will posit that just because I'm playing an orc in Horde Wars, and I am playing an orc who is of a neutral bent, because I've come to these civilized lands to make wealth and fame, I am still a fucking orc. And anybody who wants to say, but orcs don't have to be evil, it's like, no, I'm gonna go back to my homeland and be evil. Fuck you.
And here's the thing that's a good point to kind of quickly touch before we get out of here. With my D&D games, orcs, drow elves, they're evil. That's it. It's not going to be up for discussion. If that offends you, just don't sit down at my table. It's fine. I mean, you're probably not sitting there anyway. The people who sit at my table, they understand that. They're fine with it. That's how we go. If it's a different game, whatever's in there, it's fine. It's that's just how it works. And even Brian will say, I want to keep our ship as the wizard. I am noble and eventually need to get back home. Well, yeah, I think we all would like to get off that island at some point, but we're just like henpecking it right now as much as possible. Pretty amazing moment in that last game where me and I can't remember who else, we were all chasing that fucking serpent down, and Brian nails it with lightning and kills it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then, the ship! And we have to go back and face a fucking troll. That was fun. But
I got Black Betty by Spider Bite queued up when the time is right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Black Betty.
But you know, the key point I'm trying to make is if you're at a table and it's, certain elements are just not going your way, you have a choice. You really do. You can either sit down at that table and play as that table's rules dictate, or you could get up and leave politely. And let me tell you why I emphasize that politely. Because if my table isn't to your liking and you decide, hey, you know what, not for me, bud, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, totally understand. And then I will proceed to tell you the door's always open. So if you change your mind, come back, talk to me. We'll see about getting you in the game. Okay. Until then, best of luck. If
My
you
only
go
thing,
to a different table and you have your character sheet that you rolled at my table, you can have that GM call me or email me or text me or whatever, and I'll be like, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that's a legit character sheet. You can introduce as that character at that level if that's what you want. If you start your own table and others are coming up to me and they find that my table is not to their liking, I can say, this table run by this person is over here. I they could call me and I'll vouch for you.
here's,
Go there.
here's
I will refer people to your table. However, if you get up and you start making demands, you start acting like an ass, all that shit closes down.
see, here's my thing. Here's my thing, because I'm with you. If somebody comes to your table and starts being like, "Why are you trying to exclude me?" That fucker can go hit bricks. Okay. What I'm getting at is that sometimes in our zeal to be explicit about now we will not deal with these fuckers, we kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. So if I come to your table and I say, Wolfgar, I want to be an orc, and you're like, I'm sorry, man, orcs are evil in my game. I'm like, no, I'm an evil piece of shit. But either I was captured and so now I have a vested interest in working with the party, or I lost out in the Game of Thrones for the orc throne and now I'm an outcast and I gotta make my way in this world or something. But I want to be an orc. If you go, all right, I'll let you be an orc because you put some work into it, but usually I don't, you're gonna be in for a hard time. I'm like, done. I'm open to that.
Yeah, this is one of those things that it's like the female space marine thing. Here's the thing: I am not inflexible on that because I don't play Warhammer 40K. It's not a hobby that I think I can get into easily or inexpensively. It's a little cost prohibitive, and my time constraints won't allow it. So that's why I don't play. That's the only reason I don't play. I find it very fascinating. It's just
Well,
I don't have time nor the inclination really.
well, I
So,
mean, that's
hold on.
okay.
The people who want the female space marines, if this were brought to my table, would I immediately reject it? No, but I would tell them there are going to be some serious fucking limits because now I'm having to write in new tech. That new tech is going to be faulty, and you're going to have to take some. You're going to have to take some serious hits. That's the compromise I'm willing to make. If the answer to that is no, find another table. If the answer is yes, then I will go ahead and incorporate that, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a long, hard road to hoe because if we can make it work, this is something you can submit to Games Workshop later, and there is a chance that they will put it in there. If not, then we can just write our own supplement for the table.
Here's the problem though, and I'm not disagreeing with you again, but this is the thing. They want the Fem Marines, but they don't want
to do any work.
They don't want to do any work, and they don't want any negatives for being Fem Marines, right?
Yep.
I put to you the following: Fem Marines are already in 40K.
Sisters of Battle, right?
No, actual Fem Marines. Everyone goes, but only men can do the thing because genetics. And it's like, no. So first, option one. You're a Chaos Marine. Go play Black Crusade. Slanesh made you a woman for a laugh. Okay? That's option one. Oh, you don't like that option because you want to be an Imperial. Okay. You're a mutant. Mutancy happens. What's your mutation? You have the wrong sex now. Have a nice day. Oh, you don't like that. Okay, well, guess what? You are from a chapter of Space Marines. You all have the mutation that has changed your sex. You're all women now. Right? But you can't interact with mainstream imperial society because they are a bunch of fascist, psychotic, xenophobic, paranoid lunatics. So you're playing Death Watch. You've been seconded to the Death Watch. You're playing a Black Shield. Keep the helmet on. The helmet never comes off. They'll never know your shame that you're a woman because that's 40K.
Well, here's
But they don't want any of that.
well,
Right. You're gatekeeping me. Whoa!
so Patty was saying, seriously, I don't mind when people playing their games. The same thing. Asking Games Workshop or bullying them to change the lore is shit. I agree. However, asking them is not a big deal. Worst I could tell you is no. But it's in how you do it. You have to present to them that this will work. You found a good base for it. You tried it at conventions. You did the work. And guess what? Chances are, if they see that there's money to be made in it, if they can be shown that, that's how you get that.
Well, here's the thing. Jump to Patty's next commentary here, because I think this is very important. I don't believe that it is appropriate to shit talk somebody who would bring Custodes Trump boys. Okay. When I have seen, and I loved it, it was great. Somebody made an Ultramarines army. Okay. And they took the Smurf joke to its unnatural extreme. So literally their leader Smurf, their general, was a Papa Smurf. Okay? The dropships were Smurf houses, like mushrooms. Okay? It was a Smurf army. He took a Smurf army to convention! If you're gonna do that, then Trump custodians are perfectly acceptable too.
I do agree. And speaking of which, yeah, find that. Now, that's not canon. It's not canon at all, but there it is. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you're dealing with people now.
Look, we're gonna make the Imperium great again. We're gonna make the
you're
Eldar
dealing with
pay
people
for it.
who can now make their own. There is no, I mean, fuck. The grimdark future exists.
It's
make
why
your
I've got it.
own.
It's why
Literally make your own.
Look,
Look at what's going on.
I haven't got it working yet, but it's why I have a 3D printer now and a heating station.
You know, it's
or
like,
a drying
okay,
box.
if
Is
you
to
want
make
this,
my own
make
minis.
your own, codify those rules properly, play test them, do the work, make it your own, and then sell it. Don't sell it under the Warhammer 40K thing. You know, just make your own entire game. And you can literally have an all-female Space Marine-ish force if you want to. You can do whatever you want. Do you guys ever see the Italians make a man-sized emperor or a man Trump parade thing? I did not. I didn't see that one. Or play one-page rules. It's so rules light. It's so lore light even that you can literally just kind of make up your own game. But it's playable. You don't have to spend like thousands of dollars. OPR Battle Sisters are fucking dope. I agree. I've seen those. Those are amazing. I think they're vampires. Those vampire guilds they sell now, the vampire undead, are fucking amazing. And I can't wait to use something like that in a Curse of Strahd-ish type campaign. Because that shit is, just this first month was fucking dope. I noticed there were fewer miniatures, but there were bigger miniatures too. A lot more bigger ones. So I'm not mad at one-page rules at all. I still think the $10 that I spent, that was worth it. But you have to prove it works. You have to have it play tested. You have to have all this stuff, all this work done. There is no guarantee that your brilliant idea that you worked on is going to be accepted by Games Workshop, but that's the good news. It doesn't have to be. It can be its own thing. And if it sells, Games Workshop lost out. They're going to try to contact you and be like, nah, I'm making all that money. You see, it is a win-win if you play your card right. But this demanding shit from these larger companies, I can tell you right now, all I want is just a fucking good game. Do you know who gives that? I can tell you, Troll Lord Games, Venture Satanas, The Red Room. They are not out there explicitly going ape shit over an ideology. That is what the fuck is that?
Okay, so I was doing some work last night in some AI because I was talking to a friend of mine who's been going on about the AI thing. That is the prompt was Omega Red Mafia Vampire.
I'm so glad I didn't have tea in my mouth when I saw that. It's right in the fourth. That does look like him if he hit the gym suddenly.
I thought it was extra boss. You're talking about vampires. Like, oh, I got to show you this. I got to pull this up.
This is good grief. Wow. I have the Cursed City board game from GW and a bunch of Vampy models. I can't wait to print those OPR ones to make a full-size Battle Force. I agree. I agree.
Hey, for once, I had something to present.
Oh, they're still finalizing some of the sculpts on the vampires. Okay. Well, I did notice that even some of the dwarf guilds were works in progress or something like that. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not.
You know, as we hopefully close, because we keep trying to and then wandering away. There was a thread recently on the Twitter. Who is your favorite X-Man? And I didn't want to do what other people were doing, so I in fact said Omega Red is my boy. Because I mean, given the choice, it's a list. You know, there's always multiple X-Men that are your dude. And it's like, well, I do like me some Colossus, and I do like me some Kurt Wagner, but like Omega Red doesn't get enough love anymore, in general.
Yeah. Mine might be a surprise. Everybody is probably going to think it's Wolverine, and he's
long
one
shot.
of them. Huh?
It's a long shot, isn't it?
No.
Shatterstar? Okay, I am now interested.
Gambit.
Oh yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me.
No, it really shouldn't.
It doesn't at all.
Really should not surprise anyone. But I am going to get the fuck out of here because I got to put some paper in this wood here. And I'm going to watch Ice Pirates, and I'm going to probably do a little bit of solo gaming today because, well, I really want to do that. And dude, the Dwarf Guild Berserkers are cool. Yes, those are awesome. And did you get the link for God Emperor Trump? I did not. Tell you what, send it to me. DM me. Ice Pirates, sweet. Yeah, I showed this off earlier because I found it.
So it was a space herpy.
But anyway,
by the way, serious. Angelica Houston's in Ice Pirates. My father was distantly related to her.
Oh, I love her.
And the cook is a very, 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 very young Ron Perlman.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, are we talking like pre-Police Academy Ron Perlman?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to have to check that out. But in the meantime, I'm going to get the hell up out of here. And this time, I'm not forgetting the fucking outro.
Woo!
So, getting that hit up right now. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I know this ran way longer than I wanted it to, but we were having fun. So, I'm glad everyone enjoyed the Goose Unfiltered video. By the way, if you want to watch it again, it's just Goose Unfiltered Nerd Rope. Click the first video you see.
Also, Patty sent us that link on Twitter, so we'll get that out for people that really, really need the God Emperor Trump. Apparently,
but I've got to go because I got to get the description all typed up and get those links in there. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget a link or two, but I'm going to try to remember as many as possible. Get the Chaltex cards, get Horde Wars, get Chalt, and get all the free things. Just get them all. Get them all.
Have a lovely day and make it Chalt.
Make it Chalt, definitely. As always, love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do and play what lights you up. And as always, play on.
Chalt!